All right. All right. Just making sure my stream is healthy. Let's see. I don't want an emaciated health live stream. I want it healthy. Let's see. Let's go ahead and check the health. All right. It looks excellent. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Welcome to today's live stream. Thank you all so much for being here. Hi guys. How's everybody doing? Hello. Hello to my moderators. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. How's everybody doing this Friday morning, afternoon, evening? My favorite people. I get so excited, you guys. I'm always so excited. This morning, though, I was incredibly nervous. I couldn't find my phone. I couldn't find it anywhere. And the thing that sucks about my phone is that, well, when I am filming these, I always want to make sure that it's on do not disturb mode because I do film on my phone. I don't have a fancy camera or anything. And when it's on do not disturb mode, I can't find it anywhere. Because even if I'm trying to, make it ding or something, bing, 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 or if I tell someone, hey, can you call my phone so that I can find it? I can't find it. So today I was incredibly freaked out. I couldn't find it. It was 20 minutes before the live stream started, and I am panicking. So I gathered all of my cats. I'm like, Mr. B, Elliot, Gia, all of you, spread out. We're all going to take one room each. We're going to figure out where my phone is. Of course, they all stared at me and were like, that's not my problem. So Gia helped me, right? She followed me around and she's like, wah, wah, right? Probably giving me hints. I didn't know what she was telling me. I'm like, where is it? Gia, where is it? She's like, wah. And then of course she shows me her belly. So I'm like, okay, is it in your belly? Did you eat my phone, baby? Oh, mamas. And of course I'm petting her. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, oh my God, where's my phone? Of course. As I'm petting her, I look up and there's my phone on the couch. So Gia, my baby, thank you so much. She helped me find my phone. It was right there. And I'm like, oh my God, it was here the whole time. Gia knows exactly, Shelly. Gia knows. She knows everything. I was so impressed. I'm like, oh, that's why you were like, me, showing me her little belly, right? She's like, Mommy, your phone is up there, but also belly rubs. I found it. So, of course, I gave her her little love and then I ran back in here. I'm getting everything sorted out and I'm panicked. So, let me catch my breath. All right. Let me catch my breath. Oh, never again. Never again. I need to have that phone stuck to me. This is the second time that happens to me, by the way. The first time it happened, I still had like 45 minutes left for the live, but this time it happened 20 minutes before. And I'm like, okay, what now? What do I do now? I don't know. I guess I have to try it on my computer screen, maybe my weird one. I was going to look all grainy again, but hey, whatever works. Thank you all so much for being here. As you see on the screen, I put something together for us. I made this yesterday. It took me a while because I was going through a lot of theories in my own head as I was doing this, just to make sure, that I had all of my bases covered. So I put this together kind of to give us to give us a visual. To give us a visual of what I was trying to say in our last live stream, because I know it was probably confusing for a few of you. I read through the comments. Some of you were like, what is this 17 minutes you're talking about? Why do you keep saying 17 minutes? I don't get it. And you're right. It's because I don't get it either. I kept saying 17 minutes and I didn't even explain why I kept saying 17 minutes. The 17 minutes, just to clarify, I meant 17 minutes that it really only took Chris 17 minutes to get rid of Shanann's body, right? So, and the reason I came up with that was by looking at the text messages from the time that Chris arrived on site to when he texted, okay, copy, and then to when he started texting more frequently. So I came up with the theory that maybe as soon as he arrived, he disposed of Shanann's body in the shallow grave that was dug before. So it only took 17 minutes, right? And in between getting rid of Shanann and going back to his girls, he took the time to text okay copy, right? Because notice is it's a very short text, right? You just put your wife in a shallow grave. So quickly you have to be like, okay copy. All right, who's next? Right? And then he went for his daughters, the scumbag. One by one is what he said. And so then my theory was that maybe it took him then again it took him like another 15 to 20 minutes to get rid of his daughters one by one, which in total would have been 33 minutes. So that is what I meant. Just for anyone who was confused, and like I said, that's my fault. I was confused myself. I'm like, what am I even talking about right now? So I put this together, you guys, so that you guys can see this. And I did a little research as well on how long it would take to dig a shallow grave. I hope that the FBI doesn't come knocking on my door because I was doing a lot of research, extensive actually. How long would it take for me to get rid of a quick body, right? Oops. And the whole time, I'm literally telling Google, this is for research purposes. I promise. This is for research purposes. Please check. Like I run a YouTube channel where I talk about true crime. So I had to just make sure to include that in parentheses just to prevent the FBI from knocking on my door. But I did a lot of research. And from what I gathered and even my own experience, digging a lot of holes in the Marine Corps, right? We dig a lot of foxholes. The thing that we came up with was this. A shallow grave, the one that was dug up at Cervi 319, one like this one, the one that Shanann was in, was 2 feet and 3 inches deep, so 27 inches total. For my friends overseas, I don't I don't know. I can't really. How do you? I don't know. I don't know all the measurements. Right? We're American here. I don't. They only show us one way of measuring things, so I don't really know how to convert that over. But yeah, the shallow graves or Shanann's shallow grave was 2 feet and 3 inches deep. Shanann was found 9 inches below the soil. Okay. Shallow graves, on average, takes about 1 to 4 hours to dig. This is a 2 to 3 foot deep shallow grave, right? For the average person. But it really all depends on the soil conditions, the tool that is being used, and of course the physical fitness of the person. We know that Chris was always in the gym, right? Checking his macros, doing his little ab days or whatever, his little bicep curls with, 5 pound dumbbells or whatever he was doing with Nicole Kessinger. So we can assume that Chris was physically fit, right? Now, on soft and sandy soil, it takes 30 to 60 minutes. Difficult conditions will take anywhere, up to 4 hours. So, this is where I wanted to ask you guys the questions. What do we actually think? What would be the closest thing to or the closest to the truth, right? What is the most probable thing that happened? How long would it take Chris Watts, who was physically fit somewhat, right? Upper body strength, no leg, right? No legs. He skipped leg day almost every single day. So if you're shoveling, you have to use your legs. So let's keep that in mind. Maybe he used his back. Who knows? Maybe his biceps. All those bicep curls. He's like, yeah, this is how you dig holes. Yeah. I auditioned for the movie Holes. I just didn't get in. Yeah. They didn't like my big potato head. I was gonna stick out from everybody else. They did not want me to outshine Shia LaBeouf. So that's why, right? That's Chris digging the holes. So what do we think? Right? So what do we think about this soil here? 30 minutes seems like a very that's the minimum amount of time that it would take the average person to dig a hole is 30 minutes. And this is with soft and sandy conditions, right? We see that it's sandy, but that is only after you get over the top, right? The surface. The bottom of it is very sandy. It looks like a sandy soil. It looks very easy to move, right? But the thing is that not all of it is like that. When you look at the actual place where Shanann was buried, this is this is what the ground actually looks like, right? It's compact soil. There's a lot of rocks. Even when you look at this spot itself, this is where Shanann was buried. Look at it. There is vegetation. So they had to whoever, right? Let's say Chris and if he had an accomplice, whoever dug the hole had to first get rid of the vegetation in the way because all of it is vegetation. It's not like Chris walked out, okay? Like let's look at the real map here. Look at this. It's not like Chris walked out and saw this very awesome, it just happened to be there for him, a very special patch of sandy soil. And he's like, "Oh, this is perfect. It just happened to be here for me." No, right? We're going to assume that all of this soil and the vegetation first had to get moved out of the way. There's this little piece of rake here, so do we think he probably used this to get rid of all of the rocks and to make the soil less compact? This isn't a park, remember, people don't walk on it. There aren't that many animals. You don't see gopher holes or anything here. So we're going to assume that all of this surrounding soil is very compact. It's full of rocks and a bunch of other things. So 30 minutes to dig a hole with in this condition, right? These soil conditions in the depth and with that one shovel, right? That one raggedy shovel that he had. He didn't even have like a pick or anything. So this is where we start to wonder if the grave was actually dug that morning that Chris showed up, which is unlikely, and this is where I say I don't think so, or was it dug days prior? Because if it was dug up days prior, then it's very possible that Chris was able to get all of this done in the little bit of time that he had, which in reality, thanks to everybody for pointing this out, right? In reality, Chris had 90 full minutes alone from the time that he arrived to the time that his coworkers started to show up. So he had 90 whole minutes. So could he have dug up the hole in 30 minutes and then taken the remaining 60 minutes to get rid of his family? But let's remember, he got on site because he had to work on a leak. So when his coworkers arrived, he still had to make it seem like he had done some work. He had been there for a whole hour already, hour and a half. So he had to do that. On top of that, he had to change his clothing, right? He has to change his clothes because he just annihilated his family. He smells like oil if he dumped his girls in the oil tanks, right? So there are things that he still has to do before his coworkers show up. And remember, this is all under the assumption, right, that Chris has no idea when his coworkers are showing up. So it would be it would be kind of, risky for him to take the full 90 minutes to get rid of his family. I would assume that if you murdered your family and you got on site, you're gonna try to get rid of them as soon as possible and not take the full 90 minutes watching your coworkers just kind of roll in. Oh, oh no, they're coming. Let's get rid of all the evidence, right? No, I would assume that you would want to get rid of that right away. And so now that I'm kind of done explaining my thought process, I want to hear what you guys think because I want to go over this and come up with some possible scenarios. I want to come up with some scenarios, you guys, because I mean, look at this. The ones in blue, just so you know, so the ones in the darker blue are before Chris arrived to Cervi 319, and this is after. So all the light blue ones are when he's already there. And then here's the official GPS. So he arrived at 6:53 a.m. And if we're going to assume that the GPS is correct, then he did arrive at 6:53 and the first text message that he sent saying, "Oh, I'm already here," wasn't true, right? This We're going to assume that Chris was still driving up to Cervi 319. No way Chris Watts digging that hole on his own. That hole got done on Friday or Saturday, and NK was involved and helped with everything. Thanks, Claire. He said in the second interview that we had a weed whacker and two shovels or something like that. Did he say, wow, did he really say a weed whacker? And I know he said the word we. I know that there's speculation around that, whether he meant we as in him and his accomplices or him and his coworkers. So we don't really know what's up with that. Yes. He admitted he dumped his clothes in a bin behind the house where there was the building. Oh, okay. Right. So then we know that he changed his clothes at the site. Yes, a weed whacker. Okay. I see. And this is the thing. I find it interesting that Chris said weed whacker. Why would he mention a weed whacker if there was no need to use a weed whacker? Here, I'm going to put up the picture again, the photo of the site. Yeah, look at all of that. It would be interesting. I walked around my backyard a little bit in my front yard. I wanted to see if there was some soil maybe that I can touch, feel it. I'm like, okay, like, is this similar? Really, I'm out here doing my own experiments, trying to see the soil type, right? I'm breaking it down, looking at it under a microscope. I'm like, oh my God, is it the same crystal types? Trying to make sure that I have all my facts straight. But it would be nice to go out there and actually see what the soil is like and even attempt to dig a hole just to see how long it would take. Whacked away the vegetation before he dug. The "we" did not mean him and his accomplice, I'm sorry. Yeah, Cosmo Bear. Yeah, and this is where, right, like, we can speculate, did he mean "we" as in him and his accomplice, or did he mean "we" as in an innocent "we" as in, "Oh, yeah, we use the shovels, me and Troy, or me and Cody," right? Me and my coworkers. Which wouldn't be crazy to believe, right? I mean, they do work out in the field, right? Like, they're always out in the field, so obviously they're gonna have weed whackers and stuff like that, but yes, and time it. He said shovels and weed whacker from work. Yes, gotta get a good perspective. He trails off and says, "Part of our tools," meaning workers. Okay, got it. Yeah, so but if we're going so let's just go ahead. How about we go ahead and assume that he didn't dig the hole, like, on Friday or Saturday? Can it be done with this time? Can it be done in 90 minutes? Can all of it be done in 90 minutes? From the time that he arrived. So he texts okay copy at 7:10. So I would assume, right, he got to Surrey 319 at 6:53. The X represents his truck. Okay. The distance from the grave to the girls is 100 feet. So, just using this, if anybody's really good at math or geometry, we can figure out how many feet it took for him to find the area, dig a hole, be able to send these text messages in between, and somehow take breaks, right? Because you're digging a hole. Remember, you're digging a hole. I don't care how fit you are, you still need to take breaks. You're digging holes. So he's taking breaks. He's like, okay, let me dig. Let me text, okay, take a breather, dig some more. Let's go ahead and assume it took him an hour, right? Let's go ahead and assume it took Chris a full hour to dig a 2-foot deep hole. By that time, it is 7:53. So at 7:53, right? So right here at 7:43, 10 minutes before, he texted, yes, 1 sec, because he's still digging, right? He's still like, oh crap. I gotta put Shanann in here. Let me cover it up. Let me make it seem like there's nothing here. And then Cody is like, how is it looking? So now Chris is no longer here. He's over here. So he's walked over here. He took the picture of the photo, right? The photo of the leak. Cody's like, you want me to bring a gator? Chris is like, no, I got it handled. Thanks, though. So now let's go ahead and assume he walks back to his truck, grabs one of the girls, Cece, walks over, climbs up, dumps Cece in the tank, comes back. Bella struggles with Bella. So let's just say it took him a little bit longer with Bella. What, 5 to 10 minutes? And then when he walked over, put her in the second tank. And by that time, the coworkers are showing up. So when did he have time to change? When did he have time to make it seem like he was working on the leak? Did he have time to do any of this? Okay, let's say it took him 40 minutes to dig the hole then. It's the same thing. He still needs to change. He still needs to seem normal, not sweaty, not smelling like crude oil. He killed the girls first and then dug the hole and buried Shanann. Okay. And then he changed on the way home. My cat is snoring. Sorry, Rocks, your smooth voice knocked my cat out. Aw, that's so sweet. Oh, so cute. I love to hear animals snore. By the way, thank you to all of you who sent me pictures of your babies, fur or no fur. I love all the animals. Even if you have, if you have snakes and lizards, I love them. Send them to me. The bearded dragons are so cute. I love those so much. Yeah. But yeah. I just wanted to say that I just love animals, so send me all the animal pictures you have. I don't think he even changed until he was on his way back home, no? Everything smells like oil. That smell is so strong. I can wash it and put it away for years and still the smell never goes away. Thanks, The Last Lazy. Yeah, thanks for the perspective, especially for people who do work or have experience in the oil fields. Just knowing how strong this smell is, and you can't really get it out. But, right, we can also just assume that he's going to smell like oil anyway because he's a coordinator. He's a field coordinator. So he probably didn't have to change his clothes on site. Okay, so let's go ahead and say he didn't have to change his clothes on site, but he still had to work on the leak. Notice everybody stayed on site till 9:30. Okay, so the coworkers arrive at around 8:25 to 8:30. So everyone stayed at Cervi 319 for another hour, possibly working on the leak. Who knows? They were probably like, I don't know, Chris, how long did it take you to work on this? And he's like, I didn't have the proper tools. Sorry, I just have a hammer. And he's like banging on it. There's, more oil spewing everywhere. Oh, Chris, did you forget the tools at home? Yeah. Sorry. The tools that he purchased, but he forgets them. They're so expensive and he still forgets his tools. Whatever excuse he gave, right? The coworker showed up and they're like, "Chris, you haven't done any work on this yet? Are you serious?" Tommy just did. It is now working. Why did so many coworkers come if he said he would? That's the question of the century. I listened to Cody Roberts' interview, and he talks about how who was it? Was it Melissa? I wrote it down because I'm like, who are all these people? Tons of people to look into. Right. So there's Chad, right? Chad McNeil. There's also Troy, who was supposed to show up on site, and there's Melissa. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think there was another person, right? But so it seems that Chris and Troy were both leads. Cody was below Chris. So Chris was technically like his supervisor. And then Luke Epple and Chad McNeil are the bosses. They are the foremen. So Chris served as you know, uh, an acting foreman when the foremen were out. So as a lead, he actually led people. It's crazy to believe that Chris was in a position to lead people. Yeah. Very, very crazy. I feel bad for the coworkers. A lot of them were traumatized after that, understandably. There we go. Thank you, Cosmo Bear. Melissa Parrish was a newbie. Oh, okay. Because he is the biggest tool. Yeah. Yeah, he's like using his head. He's like, "How do I get this bolt off?" He's like using the side of like the bald spot to get like a good grip on it. They're like, "Chris, that's not how you use your temple. You're supposed to use your temple to think." He's like, "Oh, okay." Of course, he probably wasn't thinking. He's like, "Oh my god, I just got rid of my whole family." So he's just acting. He's like, "Yeah, I'm normal." Yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to jimmy it with a screwdriver. That's all I was trying to do, you guys. Yeah. I spent a whole hour and a half just trying to jimmy it with a screwdriver. Moving, his hand movements. I was drinking water and then I grabbed the tools and then I come over here and I grab my notebook to read. I just wanted to make sure that I was twisting it the right way. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Wait, which way is left again? He's having to look at the thesaurus. Which way is left? This one or this one? Oh, wait, your left or my left? I don't know. So no wonder it was leaking. He did lefty loosey. So there was no bolt on it and all the oil was leaking out. Of course. What an idiot. Yes. Hello, Connie. So, what explanation did Chris give then to his coworkers? Why was he there for a whole 90 minutes? Didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He didn't get anything done. He sent that picture to Cody. He's like, "Yeah, it looks fresh. It looks fresh, lol." Fresh, he says. When he had just put his whole family at the site and he's saying fresh, lol, as if it's a joke. God. But all right, here, let's go ahead and I want to pull up that photo just so that we can see it, the one from Cody Roberts. Right here, right? So it was at 7:53. So whatever Chris was doing at this time, he had to stop everything he was doing, whether Shanann was still in the truck and the girls were already in the oil tanks or vice versa. He had to stop what he was doing to walk over to the leak and take a photo of it. And this is already 8, so the coworkers are on their way. Do we think that Chris was already done at this point? What do we think? All right, I'm just gonna put up a poll real quick. I just want to see what most of what most of you think. So the question is going to be, did we think that Chris was done with the deed by the time that he texted fresh LOL? And then he took the remaining, what is it, 30 to 40 minutes to calm down, to look at the leak? Or do we still think that he was doing the deed up until the coworkers arrived? That's basically the question. Yeah, I just want to see what all of you think because this is the part that I just, every time we look at it, I haven't quite been able to figure it out, especially not being able to recreate it. I would love to be able to recreate it myself. But even then, it's not going to be 100% accurate. Okay, so the question is, do we think Chris was done by the Okay, so at 7:53 a.m. Okay. So do we think Chris was done by the fresh LOL text at 7:53? All right. Done. He was done. The hole was pre-dug. I honestly do not think the hole was dug that morning. It was already dug. It had to have been. Right? And I think this is why I'm stuck on this one here. I really am because it just again, to me it just doesn't really seem plausible. It doesn't seem likely. The average scenario, it takes anybody 1 to 3 hours with this type of soil. It's just not likely that Chris arrived and then immediately started digging or, you know, went for his girls first and then came back and dug the hole. It's too much. It's just way too much. Way too much to do. Too risky. It's way too risky. I know that Chris is stupid, but God, I mean, he can't be that stupid. What, he has the survival instinct of a floating plastic bag? You know, those floating plastic bags you see in the street? You're like walking around town, you see a bag floating by, and then you see a semi coming by, and you're like, oh no, the bag is gonna get hit. And then it does hit the semi, but now it's actually stuck on the windshield wiper. And so the semi is like, oh no. And you just see everything explode, right? You're like, "Oh my god." All because of the survival instinct of the trash bag, right? The plastic bag. It would just be a disaster. There's no way. I'm only one. Why didn't he leave her in the sheet? He would have been all sweaty and he may have had blisters on his hands from digging. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, the majority of you are saying yes. So he was definitely done by then. Let's go ahead and see this again. And the reason I think that he was done, right, and the hole was pre-dug, I think that we've already come to the consensus that the hole was pre-dug. It's because look at how much her words. Look at how much more frequent he was sending text messages out. He's there. He's like, "Yeah, here's the photo. No, I got it handled. Thanks though." But earlier he's like, "Okay, copy. Yeah, hold on. One sec." So I think in these little short text messages, he was actually in the middle of it. Interesting votes. We just don't know for sure. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Tiger. Yeah. I just want to see, yeah, what the majority of us think, right? Because we want to come up with a plausible theory, something that makes sense for the majority of us. And so I just want to see what you guys think about it. 'Cause I just wanna be this crazy lady, right? I'm here and I'm going insane. I'm driving myself insane doing all this research. And then it turns out like, oh, this is this isn't even possible, right? But I just wanna see what you guys think. Oh, thanks. You should have been a detective. Yeah, I did want to be. I wanted to a long time ago when I was younger. I really my one of my favorite shows of all time was NCIS, um, apart from Law& and Order SVU. But yeah, NCIS, it's actually one of the reasons why I was drawn to the Marines, because I just watching NCIS and watching the Marines in their dress blue uniforms made me wanna become one. I'm like, "Oh, I would look nice in that uniform." And that's why I chose that's why I chose the Marines, you know, all the other branches, there's, Army, Air Force, Navy. I chose the Marine Corps because of their uniforms. I love that dress blue uniform. Criminal Intent. I like Criminal Intent too. Law& and Order is definitely, like, top notch though. The plastic bag. Yes. Oh, wow, that's awesome, Cosmo Bear. Your husband was a producer and writer on NCIS New Orleans. That's awesome. That's cool. Oh, that's so cool. That's really awesome. Yeah, I always wanted to be an extra in one of those shows, right? Whether I'm in the back, I'm just like, putting groceries away or something. I'm just an extra. I'm like, "Hi," waving to the camera. They're like, "Okay, you're fired. You can't be doing that." Okay. All right, 75% of you say yes, he was done. Okay. Well, yeah, this I wanted to put this together, right? And type exactly what was said at exactly the times so that we can see it. And so now we can give ourselves an idea of how much time Chris actually had and whether or not he had the physical fitness, the right tools, and whether the soil conditions were in his favor for him to have been able to get rid of his family all in a short span of 90 minutes, all while also having to dig a hole, fill the hole, by the way. Filling the hole is a whole nother thing. You think digging the hole is hard? You have to fill the hole. Now, granted, there was a body in here, so it's not as hard to fill, but now you have all this extra soil that needs to go in the hole and make sure that the body is covered. And then you still have 2 live children in the truck that you have to dispose of. So, again, I'm gonna go ahead and say, no, it's not possible, and the hole was dug prior. My son is a trainer in Paris Island. Oh, really? Is he a drill instructor? Have you guys been watching Veriscope? No, no, I have not been watching that one. Um, Mama point. Anyone think it's possible the girls were taken there the night prior, so only Shanann was taken to Cervi the morning of? Hmm. Hmm. Huh, that's a good point. I never even thought of that. Never thought of that. The night prior. So would it be before the 111-minute phone call or after the 111-minute phone call? But then if Shanann arrived at home, wouldn't she go check on the girls first? And then if she checked on the girls and the girls weren't there, then we're going to assume that that's when Shanann was killed. But then there were no signs of a struggle. And I think that if Shanann was attacked and she was awake, she would have struggled. I don't think he dropped the girls in the tanks. I think he dumped the girls the night before. I don't think they went prior. I think that they would depend on if you believe the shadow theory. The shadow theory. I truly think that they was waiting on her. If anything, he killed the girls before the 111-minute phone call, so no distractions. Yeah, Veriscope. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check him out. Veriscope on NK. Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's awesome. Hoorah. Yeah, Semper Fi. Yeah, I'm wearing a Marine Corps shirt today. Actually, this is this is my see, this is one of my Marine Corps shirts, the Marine Corps emblem. His GPS would have shown he was there. I'm sure he didn't dump poor Dieter. Yeah, a lot of things actually made me not I don't know, maybe not believe so much that Chris dumped the girls the night prior. Um, I feel like there would have been way more things to hide, and it would have been a lot riskier to go out into Cervi and then have to go out again. It would have been a lot riskier. This is just me, of course, right? I'm putting myself in the mind of a tool like Chris Watts, right? And in the mind of someone as desperate, right? A pick me girl like Nicole Kessinger. While, yeah, they came up with this plan, it was very complex. There were 3 people involved. This was done on a Monday morning, a work day, a lot of moving parts. And so I don't think that they were genius enough to plan all of this and go out to Cervi, dump the girls, come back, get rid of Shanann. It's just way too much for both of their tiny little brains, in my opinion. Remember, these are not evil geniuses, right? I don't know if you've seen the Netflix show, Evil Genius. There's that lady, I've talked about it before, the lady that put that explosive around that guy's throat, and he was a pizza delivery guy, and he blew up. Those are geniuses. Those people, right? Those people are geniuses. They were able to not they were able to um go into a bank and steal from a bank without even lifting a finger. They themselves didn't even go in there. They got someone else to go in there. Those are geniuses. But Chris and Nicole Kessinger, those are not genius level people. Certainly evil, yes. If you haven't seen that show, by the way, you have to see it. It is crazy. It's crazy what those two did. That lady and the guy. Oh my God. But yeah, so with Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts, it would just be way risky. I think they would have gotten caught immediately. Desperation is a terrible thing. I agree. I agree. Okay. So, since we went ahead, okay, so I wanted to get through with this, the first thing I wanted to talk about because I just wanted to get past the 17-minute, the 30-minute, and whether or not Chris actually dug the hole that morning. So, we're going to go ahead and move on with the assumption, right? And the idea that the hole was actually dug this Friday the 10th. So the fire stick was also around the same time. We're going to think that the fire stick is also code for digging the hole. So I'm just going to put here digging the hole. Save. And so now we can see the calendar more clearly and it makes sense, right? So on the same day that Chris took off, he met Troy in the parking lot and they picked up the fire stick. He was driving in the Lexus and the girls were in the back. This has been confirmed via a phone call, right? The phone call. And the interview with Troy and the interviews with Cody, that is when the Fire Stick was picked up. It was picked up at the Safeway parking lot, and Chris was there with the girls in the back. So I think that that's when it happened. I think as soon as he picked up the Fire Stick at the Safeway, he drove over to Cervi 319 to dig the holes. I mean, he knew that the girls weren't gonna mention anything to Shanann anyway because that was their last weekend anyway. So the Fire Stick makes me believe the blowing up site theory. Sometimes I have to be petty. Yeah, and the thing with the Fire Stick is that if we look at the blowing up theory and we look at the $450,000 life insurance, it's very possible that they were actually planning on something even more complex, like the explosion theory. But again, with something as big as that, it had to have gone perfectly, and it didn't because Shanann's flight got delayed, and I think that set a, kind of like a domino effect where if one thing went wrong, everything else went wrong. We're talking about Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts here, right? If one thing went wrong, then they're having to scramble. Oh crap. Oh no, Chris. Let's see. What is our plan B if that happens? Okay. Okay, so if A happens, then move to C. Okay. Go to page 16. Okay, page 16. Here it is. Okay. What are we looking at, Chris? Okay. If the flight is delayed, go here. Okay, go to page 27. Oh my god. Okay, page 27. Page 27. We are okay. I don't know. I don't know what to do, Chris. There's nothing on page 27. Look, it's empty. So then they panicked. And then they start throwing stuff around, looking for passwords. Oh my god. Where is it? I can't find anything. They're just tossing stuff around because they're panicked. And it threw everything off. It just went downhill from there. Hi, Farrah Fox. The rancher at Cervi would have reported a car there, but not a truck. There was corruption in this case, so that's why she was never given a lie detector test. It's crazy that she wasn't given a lie detector test. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. We have agreed, right? Or at least the majority of us have agreed 75 to 25% that we probably think that he was already done by then. And then for the 25%, do we think that he was still doing the deed then? Or what do we think? Yeah, what do we think? Those people, everybody who voted no. So the peeps with 25%. It's a ranch, but not like you think. There's some guy there that owns that. Yeah, it's a really big ranch, but like when you're driving in, it says Cervi Ranch, but the ranch is owned by people. It's like it's a very big property. All right. So the other thing I wanted to do, because many of you have been wanting to hear this, we have Cody Roberts his interview. So I want to listen to the interview and see if there's anything that we can pick up from that. There are a few theories on the Cody Roberts interview and the things that he said, and kind of a little suspicion, right? Even around Troy or the explosion theory. So I just want to see what you guys think about Cody Roberts' interview and if there's anything else that we can add to our calendar here. Yeah, and it's going to be
So
on
again, I'm Stacy Galbraith.
this
I'm
thing
an
here.
agent with Colorado Bureau of Investigation. We've been called in along with the FBI to assist Frederick with his missing persons case. And do you know the person who's missing?
Not personally, no.
Can you guys hear that okay? Yes, rocks suspect. There's nothing to see on a fire stick. You guys, I think I might be addicted to cold brew coffee. I can't get through my day without it anymore. Is that bad? I even sometimes I feel like I'm getting headaches if I don't have my coffee. I'm like, "Oh my god, my head is about to explode." The other day I was editing and I thought I was going blind. I'm like, "What? I can't see." I'm like, I need my coffee. I haven't had coffee in like the past 20 minutes." And I went and got coffee, and all of a sudden, my eyesight came back. Does that mean I'm addicted? It does, doesn't it? Oh no. Oh no. I love tea. Ugh, I want tea so much. I just, I don't know why. I just go to my coffee all the time. Tea is way healthier. I'm addicted to, yes. Crazy Marine mom. Yeah, we're all addicted out here. I'm sucking on my straw with espresso. You are addicted. Yeah, we are. We are definitely. This is an addiction. If when you're having withdrawals, that's definitely an addiction. I don't know. I need it, you guys. Ever since I became more incredibly obsessed with the case. I was always obsessed, obviously, but then I started to dig in and, dig deeper. And now this is all I do is drink coffee and look. And I'm like, okay, what other interview can I listen to? Oh my God, what did he say? And then I write it down and I'm just all over the place like a psycho, like a chicken without a head. All right, let's continue.
How do you know about this?
I actually seen it on Facebook yesterday morning. Um, I honestly had no idea anything was going on Monday. It was yesterday morning about 10 o'clock, 10:30. Seen it pop up on Facebook. One of my friends shared it, and I was like, "Whoa!" So I called my other lead, Troy McCoy, who that you guys spoke to earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Yeah, it's real." But I've never met Shanann. I just know Chris through work. I've known him for almost 2 years now.
Is he a friend of yours or just a coworker? Or?
You consider him a friend, yeah. I don't hang out with him on a regular basis, just at work. But he's always been, a person I could call whenever, especially on weekends when I'm working and whatnot.
Okay. So,
Is the sound okay, you guys? Can you hear it? So Cody is talking about how Chris is his friend, kind of, not really. He's a coworker, but they sometimes text each other. So it sounds more like he's an acquaintance. I don't find Cody sus at all. Neither do I. Neither do I. Girl, if you're your pain, I took myself down the OTO in this case. Crazy. Yeah, Cosmo, he only cried about what people would think of him. It's a little low. Okay, all right. Just want to make sure that you guys can hear it because it is a little low. So and but I also don't want to blow your eardrums out. Okay.
um, did you work on Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about your day on Monday.
So,
Like what time? Like from when you woke up to when you find this out.
So, I left
All right, that's as high as it can go. That is literally the highest volume. All right, perfect.
the house about 6:20. Went to Kersey first thing in the morning to get fuel because I was going to go out to Cervi Ranch. Chris had called me. I missed the call, and he texted me stating that he was going to go out there to Cervi Ranch to hook up the whip checks for on one of the wellheads, and then go check out something else for me on another location, and then run a well for me as well out there. And I ended up getting a call about 6:40 from my other lead, Chad, who was also spoken to earlier,
Mm-hmm.
um, saying, "Hey, you need to go out here. We're going to turn on one of the pumping units." So I went out there and
Out where to Cervi?
yeah, Surfing
Okay.
Ranch. to the Cervi State 1029 pumping unit out there, and I was gonna meet Chris out there as well. I called him. I was like, "Hey, I'm going out here. Just have another person on location just in case anything gets sideways." And just waiting around out there. I didn't go anywhere else. I just sat on location waiting.
What time did you get there?
Ooh,
Is there something in your phone that would help you?
probably say around 7:20ish, 7:30.
You're the only person there?
Yeah, it was that Cervi State well. And I got a call from Chad, or either got a call from Chad or called Chad. And he wanted me to just go ahead and turn it on, so I called Chris, was like, "Hey, come on over." And he's like, "Alright, I'll be over there in a little bit." But I guess Troy was over at the 319, Cervi 319 with Chris, and then Chad and Melissa were also over there, so I just went ahead and fired up the pumping unit anyways and just watched it, and that was it. And then Chad and Melissa showed up, Chris showed up right behind them, and then Troy showed up. And we were out on that facility, all five of us, four of us, five of us, for, I don't know, a few hours.
So what time was it that Chris showed up?
That's a great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. So what time did Chris show up? So he's saying that Chris and all the other coworkers showed up at the other site. What is it, the 1029? But he doesn't know what time he showed up to that. So what he's really saying here is that the other coworkers all went straight to Cervi. They were there with Chris, and then they all together went to the other site. So yeah, the other coworkers had to have seen Chris as soon as he was done disposing of his family. There are some of you talking about how the fire stick might not mean anything. Hey, it might not. It might not mean anything at all. Um, I do think it's weird though that it all happened on Friday and that they were meeting with Troy and that coincidentally at the same time Cody was texting about the leak and then Chris was like, "Oh yeah, I'm here. I heard it. I can go." So all of it, while it could all be a coincidence, it just does sound a little weird for all of it to be a coincidence. That just for me, right? At least for me. But it could very well not mean anything. It could just be an alibi, right? But I will say Chris Watts should have been made to remove the girls' bodies from the tanks. Oof. Oof. It's very sus. Yeah, and that's what I think too. I just think it's weird. I just think it's suspicious. And that's the only reason that I'm kind of looking into it myself. At first I didn't think anything either, right? I'm like, "Well, what's up with the fire stick?" But then when you look into it a little more and then you see the text messages, it does seem like there's more to it, but hey, it could very well mean nothing. But still, still just doing our due diligence to make sure that we're looking into it. And if there's nothing there, then there's nothing there. Yes. I will always think that the Oxy, that's why he was nervous in the interview and Chris Watts was a good guy. Yes, we'll take it to his grave. Yes. Julia's comment was so sus about women who think we're NK and Danielle. The women in the orange Mustang at the Safeway. How would Chris know it was going to come up? Well, maybe if it was pre-planned. I think I mentioned this in one of my other live streams, kind of just thinking out loud. What if the leak was pre-planned? What if Chris had gone out there before and he messed with it, you know, did it on purpose so that he has a reason to go out to Cervi 319. And so if we are going to believe in the explosion theory and that there were more people involved, right? Not saying any names, but other coworkers involved, then this is where that suspicion comes from. At least for me, and at least from what I understand it, is that there's suspicion that other coworkers were involved because of the big payout involved. And so the fire stick would therefore be an alibi or a reason for all of them, or for at least Chris, to have a reason to go out and fix the leak. But if other people were in on it, if other people were involved, then yes, right, you would hear it from one of the other coworkers that was also involved, right? This is the theory. I'm not saying that any coworker was actually involved. This is just the theory. This is how I understand it, right? This is just looking through what we have, the evidence. That is what is plausible, at least to me. And so that would be the theory that would explain why Chris was there at the Safeway picking up the fire stick and why Troy showed up. Right? He was one of the very first coworkers to show up at Cervi. So it makes sense, right? It makes sense that there is this theory out there about the coworkers and the explosion. But let's continue because we are about to hear Cody talk about exactly that, right? He's talking about the leak, and it's weird. He's like, yeah, I don't really know why Troy was out there. Maybe he was bored. He does say that. He's like, yeah, I don't know why Troy was out there. He was not even supposed to be out there. I don't know why. Maybe he was bored, which I thought was weird because I'm like, what? Who's going to go to work because they're bored? Or who's going to want to do extra stuff at work because they're bored? I don't know. Unless the employer is paying employees that aren't doing any work and they're just like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, go hang out with your friends out at the Cervi 319. You don't have anything to do out here. It's fine. Just go. Are you bored? Yeah, go hang out. I'll pay you for the day just so that you can go hang out with your friends. Who knows, right? Who knows? Let's continue.
Let's see.
What's Chad's last name?
McNeil?
And you said someone's already talked to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
They spoke to him in Anadarko, I guess.
Alright.
So, yeah.
We have lots of people doing lots of things, so.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I called Chris at 8:38. And he returned my call about 10 minutes later at about 8:45. And then I called Chad at 8:49 after I got off the phone with Chris.
So he called back 10 minutes later?
Yeah.
Where was he?
He was over at Cervi 319, which I assume he was also with Chad.
He said he was at Cervi 319?
Yeah, he was checking something out for me out there.
And that's also where Troy was?
Yeah, I believe so. He was out there as well.
What makes you think that?
Because I want to say they brought it up while we were out there, because I think all four of them were out. I know for a fact all four of them were out there. I don't know what time Troy got out there, and I can't give you a 100% certain answer on what time Chad and Melissa had gotten out there. Chris had texted me at 6:30 that morning, though.
So that was when he said that he was going to go to Cervi Ranch?
He was already out there. I'm going to say he was already out there.
What does the text say?
He just texted me at 6:30, where are you at? And he's like, just got fuel in Kersey. He's like, okay, I'm in Cervi. Where are you going first? And I was going to Hudson originally, and then I got a call from Chad saying, go out to Cervi and start that pumping unit.
So at 6:30, he was saying, where are you at? And can I take a picture of those texts?
Yeah. So.
I'm just going to try to slide it over so that I can get those times.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, can you guys hear me? Okay, there it is. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad. Yeah, Saber Bee. Yeah, let us know. Yeah, there's a lot of heavy winds everywhere. Even I was afraid earlier, with my live stream. I was hoping that can you guys hear me now? Okay, good, good, good. I'm like, oh my god, okay. No sound since you switched screens. Okay. Got it. Okay. Got it. All right. Thanks. Awesome. Thank you guys. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. But yeah, I was afraid too because there's been a lot of winds here and I was hoping that my live stream would be okay and that my power wouldn't go out, but yeah, be safe out there everybody. Lots of heavy winds all throughout the US and fire danger too, so please be safe. Yeah, out here is 50 mile per hour gusts. Oh no. Yeah, everybody please stay safe. But okay. Go back and restart. Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah, I went back and restarted. I was mostly concerned about Saber losing power. Yeah. And then I talked about how I was afraid that my live stream would also be out of power. But so we just heard, right? We heard Cody talk about how all four of them were out there. Why were all four of them out there? Why did all of them need to be out there? Notice that Chris had told Cody earlier, he's like, "Yeah, I'll go out there. There's no need for everyone to be out there." Right? He's like, he said it right here. I can go out there though. No sense in both of us going out there. And somehow there ended up being 5 people at Cervi 319 that morning. Pretty interesting, right? Now, whether or not you're gonna think that, there's something going on, it's really up to you, but once you see it, when you see that there was a leak and Chris had already offered to go out there by himself, why do you really need 4 other people to fix a leak? How many Anadarko employees do you need to fix 1 leak? 5? And so the explosion theory is making sense, right? Now I understand why the explosion theory was a thing in the first place, right? See, look at this. This is what was happening that Sunday, right? And it says, "Yep, I was standing right next to him," Chris says. "I was giving him a fire stick to look at. I can go out there though. No sense in both of us going out there." So for the question, how was Chris supposed to know that Cody was going to ask this? Well, if it was pre-planned, then yes, this question was going to be asked because this is on Sunday and work starts on Monday and there's a leak there. And Chris being the field coordinator is going to take care of it. And so that could have been really one of the only parts of the alibi that actually worked for Chris because he was going to use that as a reason why he was at Survey 319 first thing in the morning and not at the office. We're about to hear Cody talk about exactly that. The investigators asked Cody, "Is it normal for you guys or for any rover or field coordinator to go straight out into the fields first thing in the morning?" Cody says, "No, it's not normal. Most of us, all of us actually go to the office first and then we go out to the field." But the fire stick would have been a perfect alibi for Chris to say, "I went out there because of the leak. I found out about it during a weekend text, so it must have been an emergency, right?" So then he went out there first thing in the morning and he can explain why he was out there. And if the explosion had happened, even even better, right? That would have been an even better reason for him to be out there. There was a leak, things exploded, his family was there because they were bringing him, who knows, like their lunch or something, whatever. whatever story they were gonna come up with, and then blow up the site to make it seem like it was an accident, hopefully get the 450K that they were expecting. This is the theory. So you move together from site to site, and they definitely would have found bones. One, to fix the leak, four, to urge him on. Didn't NK say that it was normal for them to go to the field? Yeah, she did, actually, Boops. Yes, she did. Yeah, Kevin Kovac asked her, is it normal for them to go out straight to the field? Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's pretty normal for those guys to go out just straight to the field. Yeah, they usually don't come into the office to get free gift cards from me. Mm-mm. Really. All of the coordinators, all of them would come in to see Nicole Kessinger first. Do you have a gift card for me, Nicole? No, I don't like what you're wearing today. Maybe tomorrow, though. Fix your hair. Hi, Chris. I like your hair. Here you go. 10 gift cards, $100 each. Also, you can only spend them on me, though. That's it. Yeah. Only spend it on Nicole. She made sure that the pin that you scratch off, it's only for Nicole. You can only spend it on me, Chris. Can you buy me one of those Dead Sea Scrolls on eBay? Yeah. Scratch off the little thing in the back. You can use it. It's only for me, though. Chris is like, okay, yeah. Let me look up Dead Sea Scrolls online. I want to see how much those go for on eBay. They're really old, says Chris. They're ancient. They're from like 2 decades ago. They're so expensive. I want to get them for my girlfriend. Do you guys have any? Could you imagine Chris on talking to customer support on eBay? Hello, hi, yes. I'm looking for some Dead Sea Scrolls for my girlfriend. Uh-huh. Oh, you guys don't have any? You're sold out? Oh, okay. Oh, you don't have any, period. You've never had any. Oh, okay. Where can I purchase those? Oh, the museum? Which one? Oh, in France? All the way out there? Okay. And how much do you think I need to save for these Dead Sea Scrolls? Oh, they're priceless. Oh, okay. So, do you mean free? So I can just go get them for free? What an idiot. To him, priceless means free. They're priceless. You can't buy these. They're not for sale. Okay, so I guess they're free. Hey, Nikki, I found some free Dead Sea Scrolls. Isn't that awesome? Do you like me now? What an idiot. Notice even Nicole was like, "Are you stupid?" She's like, "What, dude? No." I want to pull up that text message just because. Let's just look at them. She's like, "What? You want to purchase me what?" She's like, "Yeah, you're sweet, Chris, but you're also so stupid. You can't do that. You can't buy me that. Are you dumb?" Oh god. Where is it? Where is it? It's right here. See, I have all of NK's text messages here. We have the IMAX. Another in it's in here somewhere. It's one of these. Oh my gosh, I can't find it right now. It's right here. Found it. There it is. Look at the way that she texted that. No, dude. Are you serious? No, you can't buy the scrolls. LOLZ. LOLs. She didn't say LOL or LMAO or LMFAO. She said LOLs. LOLs. Dude, Dead Sea Scrolls are some of the oldest, most important writings in the world. You idiot. This is her nice way of telling him, guy, you can't buy me this. It's sweet. Thank you. Thank you for being so thoughtful, but you can't buy me anything that is at a museum. Imagine, I mean, everything Chris touches, everything turns to crap. His career, right? His career at NASCAR, I don't know what happened to that. Listening to his interview with the police, he talks about carpal tunnel. I don't want to do NASCAR because of my carpal tunnel. Oh, my little wrists hurt. I'm having to turn and turn and turn. My little wrists were just getting very weak, says Chris Watts. That's what he told the investigators. He stopped doing NASCAR because of his carpal tunnel. I tried using my head to turn the screws, sir, but they didn't allow me. No, they said, you're too much of a liability, Chris. We can't afford workers' comp if you hurt your temple trying to use it as a tool. So they had to let him go, of course. That part is not true, by the way. That part is the joke. That part is the joke. Right, but yeah, Chris Watts, the dummy, trying to get Nicole Kessinger to love him. Love me, Nikki. I want to get you all the things that you like. You talk about the Dead Sea Scrolls. What else do you like? Oh, you like the Mona Lisa? You like her? Oh, who is she? Is she your favorite singer? The Mona Lisa? Is that your favorite actress? Oh, you like the painting? Oh, I wonder how much can I buy it? I'm gonna call eBay and see how much the Mona Lisa goes for. Hello, eBay. Hi. I'm trying to buy the Mona Lisa for my girlfriend. How much does that go for? Absolute idiot. The heck is a lols? Lol. It's L. Lols means it's when you're laughing, but you're not really. It's like when you're annoyed, where you're like, it's like a corporate laugh, very corporate. When you make jokes at work and you're like, please get all of these pastries away from me. I might eat them all. Right? That kind of laugh. Very hypocritical, very, very corporate. That's what I call it, the corporate laugh. Is there any more work to do? Because I would like to start my Friday early. Just joking. Just kidding. Joking. I'm going to be here till 4 p.m. It's that kind of joke, right? Oh my God. I hate working here. Just kidding. It's the best career I've ever had. That's what lulz stands for. It's like, oh, Chris, you can't buy a Dead Sea Scroll, idiot. It's a corporate. It's a corporate lulz. Well, I've already deviated from what I was originally talking about to roast Chris Watts. I forgot what I was originally talking about. Oh, that's right. We were listening to Cody. That's what we were doing. And none of you guys are like, yo, we were listening to Cody Rocks. Like, what's going on here? We're all having fun just roasting Chris. Chris and his romantic pursuits. I'm so romantic. I get the Mona Lisa and the Dead Sea Scrolls for my girlfriend. Except he didn't know. One of them was just a little, it was just the back of a postcard. He's like, oh, here's Mona Lisa for you. And the other one was just used toilet paper. Here are the Dead Sea Scrolls. Nicole, do you love me now? Let's continue with Cody Roberts' interview. There we go.
How's all this sitting with you?
Not well.
What do you think about it?
It's insane. I mean, literally showed up for work on Monday, showed up out there, like, everything's fine. And
So his demeanor was good?
yeah, I mean,
Normal?
he seemed like something might have been bothering him, and he was at his truck a lot, probably trying to get a hold of Shanann. But he didn't bring it up or anything. Ouch. I didn't ask him about it. It's not my business. And, yeah.
But he
Other
didn't
than that,
disclose anything that was bothering him?
no, he's a fairly quiet guy, pretty humble. I mean, always willing to help. I mean, he's a great guy. In the 2 years I've known him, he's always been, quiet and boring and kind of socially awkward sometimes, just who he is. But, I've never once thought, yeah, this guy is, sketchy.
Yeah.
Chris Watts, he's a good guy.
So can I read these real quick? I took pictures of them.
Yeah.
So
So, up to.
So he's like, where are you at 6:30? You just got fuel in Kersey. Okay, I'm in Cervi. He says, where are you going first? You're saying that's the 319?
The DPC state is another battery located in Hudson. That's where I was originally going, since Chris was already out there going to take care of those 3 things for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before Chad had called me asking me to go out to that 1029 pumping unit to start it up.
So I'll have to meet him or you'll have to get the camera. So let me know before I leave here. I think it'd be So he gets whatever's handled in Cervi, right?
Yeah.
So at 8:38, are there?
Good question. I heard whispering there too, right? There was a lot of that I couldn't really make out what they were saying. Let's go ahead and listen to that again.
So he gets whatever's handled in Cervi, right?
Yeah.
So at 8.
All right, so that did sound that sounded like a whisper, right? Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It sounded like she was writing something to herself. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. So she's writing stuff and she's like so it's her whispering to herself. Let's continue.
8. Are there some calls?
Yeah, so I called. I want to call Chad.
Also, yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Julie. Chris was in the room across, so they were whispering. That's actually very true. We're about to hear her get up because her phone is running out of battery, so she's looking for a charger. She gets up and she goes to the next room and is asking for the charger, and then you hear Chris. Chris is in the next room talking about, I just want my family back. That's the God honest truth. You hear him say that. This is the 15th. Okay. So the date of Cody Roberts' interview, right? We see it here. It is August 15th. August 15th is the same day that Chris went in to talk to Graham Coder, and he's wearing the same Carolina's shirt that he was wearing the day prior. So we are about to hear that, and Chris is literally in the next room. Across the room, like next door. Yeah, they're very close. You can hear her walking, and it's literally like maybe like a few doors down the hallway. But let's continue.
So at 8:38, I called him, and he was probably outside the truck, which is, I mean, pretty normal, standard stuff. We
Oh,
don't
yeah,
bring
we're
our
doing
phones
your
outside
stuff.
the truck on location. And then he was taking care of that. I assume he was pressure testing he was pressure testing that back pressure line where you saw that oil stain. It looks terrible. But he was pressure testing that. I'm going to go ahead and assume he was pressure testing that line. And that's when he called me back after that. And that's when he called me back about 10 minutes later.
All right, so he's talking about Chris pressure testing the line, and then he called him back after that. So not only was Chris texting in between all of this, but he was also making phone calls that we can't see. We only have the text messages. But this is what Chris was doing, right? He was supposed to be working on site. He's pressure testing things. So we are under the assumption that Chris had already gotten rid of his family, and that's why now he has time to pressure test. But let me know what you think. Let's continue.
To tell me that that line was definitely bad.
And that's at Cervi.
Yes.
And that's different than 319.
They're all Cervi 1029, Cervi 319. So they're all the wells are located on Cervi Ranch in Rogan,
Okay.
but the numbers on the wells are going to be different.
So there's 319.
1029 or 10-29, and yeah, those two. And I'm not sure if you want. There was another well. It's the Surrey Federal 6-29 that I think he was going to go by to put some of the checks on the wellhead. I'm not sure if those got done. I went by there, but I didn't look.
All right, I'm going to pause it real quick. I just wanted to show you guys this part here. So if Chris parked where he parked, right? So he parked right over here. Look at the distance that he walked to get rid of Shanann. It's not even that far. Look at that. This is the dirt area, and then he walked a few feet, not even that far out. This is the hole here. Look at the vegetation, right? So the weed whacker makes sense. You're going to have to get rid of some of the vegetation, especially the bigger vegetation, all of this stuff here. You can definitely dig, probably. You would be able to dig here, maybe out here. But once you get in here, there's tons of vegetation. But this video here, the way that the drone was able to capture this is so creepy. I watched this exact video. I'm just going to have it on repeat and play it over and over again. This is how I was watching it yesterday as I was putting this stuff together, because it gives you a sense of how little he thought about his family. He parked, whether it was on Friday, Saturday, or Monday, he parked and he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go out a few feet, dig a hole, and then get rid of my wife of 8 years who's expecting my son, the son that I asked for, by the way. Look at how disgusting. It's so gross. The lack of empathy. How can you do this to your family? You parked and you're just like, whatever. This is fine. Ugh. But yeah, so look at this, right? We see this, and then we're going to just go ahead and assume, yeah, it's like 12 feet, right? He's just like, screw it. 12 feet is really all that she deserves, right? He's just like, screw it, I'm going to do it here. He didn't even think about going farther out, right? Oh, I'm going to go farther out. If you're thinking about this, oh, I'm going to get rid of my family. What is the best way to get rid of them? Oh, I'm just going to dump them right here. Right where you park. And then I'm going to dump my children in the oil tanks. What was going through his brain? Sort of rage. That was absolutely a temporary grave. They were coming. Yeah. And that's another thing, right? It does make you think that this is definitely just this is temporary. He's gonna come back and he's probably gonna figure out a different place to put her. 'Cause he's like, "I don't have time. I'm not gonna go way out here to hide her body. I'm gonna do it right here." You can literally get out of your car and walk out, and you can see it. You would be walking and seeing, "Oh, that's kinda weird. Was there an animal digging stuff here?" No. So, yes, I think it's interesting to see this because, yeah, exactly, Brit. He was rushing. So, if we are gonna go ahead and think about the Friday or that Saturday, right? Let's go ahead and assume that he went out that Friday to dig the hole. Again, no care whatsoever. He was out there on a Friday, so it's likely, right? It's likely that there were coworkers around, maybe cars driving by, who knows? And he's like, "Where can I do this? Screw it, right here. Let's dig the hole right here. It's easy. I can get here on Monday morning, park right away. I can see it, so I don't have to be looking for it, right? This isn't Breaking Bad. He's not right. He's not Walter White. He's not out here getting coordinates of where he's disposing of his family. No, he's just like, let me dig the hole here, something that I can visualize right away that Monday when I show up and I could just dump my family. So it was very haphazardly done. Very last minute almost. He's like, screw it, right here. I can see it. I can pull over, dump her, and then go and dump my daughters as well. Late at night and in darkness. Exactly. Aw, thanks, Helen. Yeah, NA really threw a wrench in his next step. Absolutely, Saberby, exactly. And this is what we're seeing here. We're seeing a plan that fell through. This temporary grave, it was not supposed to be temporary. Or it's not supposed to be permanent, really. It was supposed to be temporary. It looks like he was supposed to come back and move the body and really hide it. Think about it. She was 9 inches below the surface. Any light rain or light winds could have messed with the soil, and then you can see a body. So, we're not going to really believe that this was supposed to be a permanent gravesite. Look at it. It is right there. Any coworker could have seen it, could have seen anything sticking out during a windy or rainy day. Yes, that's a terrible image. Yeah, look at this, right? Zero attempt to really hide anything. And here we have the full visual. Look at it, right? So it looks like whether it was Friday or whatever, he walked out. He saw that maybe this is the easiest place to dig a hole. There's less vegetation. It's close by and he can see it on Monday morning. So it was something that was just convenient. Very convenient. I think the girls were meant to be in that tank permanently, obviously, right? He's like, I'm gonna put him there. But Shanann, he couldn't put in the tanks because she didn't fit, so he needed to find a temporary spot to throw her. The creep, the scumbag, dumping his family for another woman, and he puts her in this. Prison is way too good for Chris Watts. Way, way too good for him. I know I've said this before. Let's start a petition to put him under the prison. That's where he belongs. Prison is way too good for a place like Chris Watts. For someone like Chris Watts, I should say. All right, let's continue with Cody Roberts.
So it sounds like Chris is at, oh gosh, my battery's about to die when I'm recording. Get a charger. It sounds like Chris was out there by himself, starting at like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, he had called me on Sunday. I missed the call and he texted me saying he was going to go out there first thing in the morning. He called me about 5 o'clock Sunday afternoon and then followed it up with a text letting me know.
So what was the text on Sunday?
I have the whip checks for the Cervi 629. I'm going to go straight out there from my house in the morning. I will look at that 319, the one that had the stain around it.
I don't think I went back that far.
Yeah.
So it's these here.
Sorry.
I like that we can hear the interview and then actually see the photos of when it's being done. So this is Stacey Galbraith and this is Cody Roberts. And we're actually hearing it in real time, her asking, "Can I take a picture of your text messages?"
Okay. Do you mind if I go try to find a charger real quick?
Yeah, you're
Because
fine.
I'm going to stop it's going to quit
Yeah.
recording like in 3 minutes. It went down 10%. So
Yeah, you're fine.
give me 1 sec. I'm sorry.
All right, guys. So we're about to hear, for those of you, if you've never heard this before, we're about to hear it right now. She said that her phone is low on battery and she's going to go ask for a charger. And we're about to hear Chris Watts. "I just want them back. That's the God honest truth. Believe me."
Hey, I need a charger. I'm down to 10%, like in 3 minutes. Okay.
I want them back. I want everybody back.
Is there an iPhone charger in that mess?
It's God honest truth. It's time for them to tell it.
Did you guys hear that? He's in the next room. "I want them back. I just want them back. That's the God honest truth. I just want them back. I want the kids to barrel rush me, knock me on the ground, crack my skull wide open. I don't care. I just want them back." You heard him. It was the confession. Trust me. Wow. Wow. Yeah, exactly, Cosmo Bear. That was right after the polygraph test. Right after the polygraph test. Isn't it amazing? I love that we have so much evidence from this case. And I think this is another reason that so many of us are on Watts Island. It's just one of those cases that we have so much to look into. Not only do we have text messages and body cam footage, but we can also even put them together at the same time, almost to visualize what was happening in real time. We're listening to Cody Roberts, and I can picture Stacey Galbraith walking down, Chris being there, right? All of this is happening at the same time. Remember, Nicole Kessinger was also there. So we're listening to Cody Roberts, but so was Nicole Kessinger. Nicole Kessinger was there on the 15th talking to detectives. So it's crazy, right? It's crazy. We're hearing all of this and we can almost picture what is actually happening only by the sounds. It's so crazy and it gives me chills. I love it.
Okay, let me in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Think they're childproof?
Yeah. It's just so weird though. I mean, having to try and remember everything that happened.
Well, I know, you
It's-
don't ever,
it-
I know.
It's work. It's everyday stuff for me. I mean, I don't think anything of it. It's literally, hey, it's normal stuff.
Is it normal for, say, Chris on a Sunday to text and say he's gonna go somewhere early on Monday morning?
For me personally, no, but I talk to him on the weekends every once in a while I'm working on the weekends. If I have any questions, I'll give him a call. He's always readily available. He doesn't come out to the field or anything, but he'll take phone calls and whatnot.
And can I see that again there? So what about it isn't usual for him?
No, I just was surprised that he called me on Sunday. I mean, I didn't know he was going to go out there until he called me. I didn't know anything about the whip checks needing installed on that Cervi Federal 629. That's not to say he didn't discuss it with Luke or Chad or Troy or anything like that. But I wasn't aware of it, which is also fairly
What are
normal.
whip checks?
On our supply lines to our motor valves, off of the casing, they're literally just a piece of steel with a hole through the center of them. That way, just in case anything should ever happen.
Helen, so can someone clarify what we're listening to? Yes. So we are listening to Cody Roberts. So we are currently listening to, for those of you who are joining, we are listening to Cody Roberts' interview with CBI agent Stacy Galbraith. This was on August 15th. So Cody Roberts is Chris Watts's coworker, and he is one tier below Chris. So technically Chris is his boss, right? It's his lead. So we're hearing Cody Roberts currently.
It contains it from blowing back and forth.
But you didn't know those were needed?
Not on that wellhead, no. All of our wellheads have them on there, but they just finished construction on that maybe a couple months ago, a month or two ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember seeing them on there. So Luke or Chad or Tony probably had, not Tony, Troy probably had to go out there to install them. Because a lot of people don't like going out to the ranch at all, period, because it's so far out of the way. I mean, it's a 30-minute drive back to at least Hudson. It's on a good day. I mean, yeah, it takes a while to get out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's far in the middle of nowhere.
So when's the last time you know that Chris went out there?
Monday.
No,
Oh.
before that. You said
Before
nobody
that?
really likes to go out there, so.
Oh. Good question.
This is a good question. When was the last time that Chris was out at Cervi 319? That is a good question, because if he was out at Cervi, let's say the Wednesday before Friday, then he had time to mess with the leak, right? Cody, unfortunately, he doesn't remember when Chris was out at Cervi 319 before Monday, but knowing that would have given us an idea of when Chris was out there. And if he was, right, if he was out there, is it possible that he messed with this area here, that he messed with it to make it leak, to give him a reason to go out there that morning. Because remember, Chris needed a reason to get out there. He needed to be by himself that morning. So, is the leak a coincidence? I don't think so. I don't think the leak is a coincidence. It had to have been pre-planned. Someone went out there and messed with it, made it leak in the first place for him to be out at Cervi 319 that morning. Why else would he be out there if there was no leak? And so Stacy Galbraith just asked Cody, and Cody's like, "Oh, that's a good question. I don't know." Right? So he doesn't know when the last time that Chris was out there to mess with whatever he needed to mess with. Because again, right? Is it a coincidence? Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Because he already had an idea of where he was going to dispose of his family. He knew he was going to dispose of them at Cervi 319. And he didn't get that idea out of the blue. Oh, there's a leak. That's where I should dispose them. I believe that the leak was there because he was going to dispose of them, not the other way around. But you guys let me know what you think. Let's continue.
I don't know. I'm sure I've had them out there. I know I've had them out there prior. It's just a matter of when. Hmm. Couldn't tell you. Honestly, it's not something I really keep track of.
So if Chris hadn't been going out here on Monday, what would his typical Monday look like?
He would have went to the office, Anadarko, Platteville office.
So how much time does he spend at the office and in the field, like percentage wise?
Probably 5% office, 10 or 95% of the time in the field.
So 95% field, 5% office?
Mm-hmm.
So what does field look like for him if it's not going out to this Cervi place?
He's all over the field in Luke's area. So, I mean, from County Road 22 south to 120th Avenue, Adams County, all the way from Rogan down to Fort Lupton, that giant area. He was a rover, now he's a lead, so he covers everything. He just does whatever needs to be done for the day that us operators don't really take care of.
All right, did you guys hear that? He was a rover, but now he's a lead. So he's all over the field, is what Cody just said. He's all over the field. He's all out here. He can basically do whatever he wants. He's a lead. He reports to Luke, his boss, right? His higher up, which is the foreman. So if Chris has free reign to go out and just do little checks here and there, and he's not a rover, so meaning he's not being overseen by somebody, there's a higher likelihood that Chris was able to just go out there by himself and cause a leak. It's just more likely because he's a lead and he's out there. He's being sent out to do whatever. And that's why I think it's just easier for him. Yeah, I'm just going to go over here. I'm a lead. I can do whatever I want. Where's Luke at? Who cares? I'm going to go check on the Cervi 319 and then cause a leak, walk away, and then he goes on leave. And then all of a sudden his coworkers are like, "Oh my God, there's a leak." And he's like, "Oh, really?" Playing dumb, right? Oh my God. I don't know what happened. I didn't cause it. I've been on leave. But what if he caused it on that Wednesday? What if he was supposed to be at 1029, but he stopped by the 319 real quick because it was going to get decommissioned, right? We know that of all of these, the 319 was going to get decommissioned soon. So he's like, let me go to this one. It's going to get decommissioned soon anyway. Let me mess with the oil, right? Jimmy it with a flathead screwdriver. So he jimmied it with a flathead screwdriver and then went on leave. And he's like, "Oh, I'll be the hero. It's okay. I'll go fix it. No worries, guys. No one has to come out there with me. I'll take one for the team. Everyone sleep in. No, it's okay. You can sleep in. You can sleep in. You guys, I got this. I'll be the hero. It's okay. No need to pay me extra. No need for gift cards. I got this. I'm a team player. I love my job. And so I think that this is the only thing that actually went to plan. I really do. What do you guys think? He told Luke he was having issues with Shanann, so he would be at a friend's house. Yeah. Did they interview Luke? Did they interview Luke? Yeah, they did. Let me see. Do I have the interviews? We're gonna go through all the interviews, guys. We're gonna go through all of them. But these are very, very long. So and we have to go in detail as well, right? But I'm sure, yeah, I think Luke did get interviewed. They waited all weekend to fix a leak. Super suspicious. Yeah, right? Oil is expensive. Oil is very expensive and they just let it leak. They're like, it's okay. Just let the gold leak into the soil. It's fine. Just put a little bit of tape over it. Some scotch tape or something. Who knows? Buy it on Temu or on eBay. Get Chris to buy it. Call customer support, Chris. And then at the same time, he's trying to order the scrolls on the side. Can I put this on my company credit card? Yeah. What an idiot. Yes, they interviewed him early on. Just like he jimmied the screwdriver when he was watching the video at Nate's house. Yeah, he jimmies a lot. Exactly. Yes, he does. Jimmy it. I'm going to jimmy it with a screwdriver. Let's continue.
So turning on batteries that have been down that are ready to be returned to production, doing PSSRs, all that stuff. Stuff the important people do.
I love my reading glasses in there. Does that say 1706?
All right, so you heard what he said. He's like, yeah, Chris goes out and does all the stuff that important people do. He's saying that Chris is doing all the important people stuff because he's higher up. He's higher up in the hierarchy. So Cody can't really question Chris, right? The thing is, when I first listened to Cody's interview, it does sound like he's very I don't know. I want to see maybe a little bit distant, but it's understandable because he's definitely part of a hierarchy at work, right? The chain of command. He is one tier below Chris, and so you can kind of tell even the way he talks about Chris. He's like, "Yeah, it's not my business. That's why I didn't ask him. It's not my business." He's definitely in the mindset of I don't ask questions of my supervisors. I don't care. It's not my business. And so we hear that in his interview that he's talking about how Chris was acting really weird that morning, but he didn't think anything of it because he's not the type to ask questions. He's not going to ask his supervisor questions. I thought that was very interesting. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, so what did Troy find out there Friday afternoon?
Oh, I had called in that picture that you'd seen.
Mhm.
I had called Troy about that Friday afternoon. And Chris was with him Friday afternoon. Just saying, hey, I found that around that riser. What should I do? Dig down, or I ended up digging around it, making sure that it was indeed oil, and just trying to figure out the best course of action for that for over the weekend. And then I told him I'd go out there Monday first thing to check it out. So I was more than likely on speakerphone connected to the truck, so if Chris was standing there, he heard it. So
And you're saying you're going out there, but he's saying, hey, no sense in us both going. I can get it dealt
Yeah.
with and basically kind of let you know if there's any issue or something.
yeah, because I mean, he's right. I mean, there's no sense having all those people out there for
But then it
you know,
sounds like
30 minutes.
all those Troy ends up at 319, and Melissa and Chad.
Yeah, Chad and Melissa were already headed out there for that for turn on that pumping unit with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why they were out there. And they really didn't ask Troy on why he went out there. He was probably bored.
Is that the 629?
Which one?
The one that they were headed out there to
The
help with you?
1029.
1029.
Yeah.
And at that point, these numbers are screwing me up here.
Sorry.
Oh, the 629. So Chris was gonna go out with the wood checks. I want to call them wood chips. Wood chucks for the 629 whip checks.
Yeah.
For the 629. But he was also gonna look at 319 and run 1129.
Yes.
What's 1129?
Yeah, one of the other wells out there.
Not 1029?
Correct.
So there's another one out there.
Yes. There's 7 of them out there actually, but those 4, I guess, are the ones that we were focusing on that day. Yeah.
And so then by like 8:48, Chris says he's at 319. Something's doing there. Someone's snapping you.
Yeah, old lady.
So he seemed pretty normal, but something was bothering him. Did you ever
Yeah.
ask if anything's wrong or anything?
I didn't think anything of it. No.
But he spent a lot of time at his truck.
I mean, he wasn't like constantly at his truck, but like whenever while we were at that 1020, that Cervi 1029 pumping unit, me and Chad, and Troy were over at his truck, at Chad's truck, and just watching a video, waiting for rods to cool down on the pumping unit so we could change out the stuffing box rubbers. And Chris was over just at his truck on his phone. And I mean, it's not uncommon for him to talk to his wife throughout the day. I mean,
So he's talking about how Chris was at his truck on his phone. Yeah, I bet he was texting pictures to Nicole Kessinger at that time because Nicole Kessinger asked for a photo as well, right? She requested a photo of the area. Chris sent her one. This was all via the work phone. And Cody is saying that he did seem a little weird, but he thought maybe he was trying to get a hold of Shanann, which of course is not true. We know that he killed her. So that's not what he was doing. So then what else was he doing? He was at his truck on his phone and he spent his whole time there. A lot of it, I think, talking to Nicole Kessinger, making sure that the truck was probably okay looking, that there wasn't anything left behind. Any evidence that was left behind, he wanted to make sure to hide it. I think that's what he was doing in his truck. But he's also talking about how Melissa, Chad, and Troy were out there. Troy doesn't even have to really be out there. I don't know what he was doing out there, but they were all kind of just hanging out by the truck, waiting for someone to show up. You can only use your phone in the truck. You can't keep it on you in the field. Is this the work phone? Are we talking about the work phone? Yeah, how is that suspiciously a leak? You call the supervisor. He was on the phone with an addiction. She was on the phone with an addiction place quite a few times. Oh yeah, that's very true. She did call a few hospitals and a few addiction places. And this is where the belief that she was the one who got the oxy comes from because of those one-off phone calls that she made. She made a bunch of random little phone calls throughout the weeks, and they were all hospitals or places for like drug rehabilitation places, stuff like that. So, yeah, let's go ahead and continue listening to Cody Roberts. We have about let's see. We have about 10 minutes left of his interview. But notice how he's saying a lot of these things. Some of you keep saying that he's stumbling over his words. I do agree. I agree. He sounds very he does sound nervous. He sounds nervous. I don't know how old Cody was at this time, but I think that the way that he's talking about Chris, he sees him as a supervisor, he sees him as a good guy. He believes in his heart of hearts that Chris actually loved his family. Oh, I think he loved them. He took his kids to the hospital when they would get sick. That is a low bar. I'm sorry, but that's the bare minimum you do. When your child is sick, you take them to the hospital. That doesn't really, sure. Is that proof that you love them? I guess? Isn't that just the bare minimum though, right? When Mr. Butters was limping and he was acting all weird, I took him to the hospital. I love him, but that's like the bare minimum. But Cody's like, "Yeah, I think he really loved his kids because he took them to the hospital that one time," right? And so the idea of what his coworkers think of Chris is that he's a really good guy and he loves his family because he occasionally spoke about them. And then when he talked about his girls, he talked about taking them to the hospital. Let me know what you guys think about that. For me at least, hearing somebody tell me that they love their children or, they love somebody, it would mean, going above and beyond. I would probably think of Chris being a really good dad if I saw him, I don't know, if he like took his kids out, right, to the park and I see him playing with them and I'm like, "Oh my god, he really does love his kids." But from Cody Roberts' perspective, the few times that Chris talked about his kids, he concluded that Chris loves them. He's like, "Oh yeah. I think he loves his kids." He talked about them like twice. One of them was about the girls eating chicken nuggets, and the other time was the time that he had to take them to the hospital. So, very little information, not really all that detailed, not something that the detectives can use, really, at least not for me, at least. In my opinion, they can probably just use that as a way of seeing Chris's character, maybe. How did he carry himself in public? Why did people think he was so trustworthy and caring and loving? It's because he was wearing a mask, if anything. But let's continue.
So, what would you say? So, based off this, it looks like, off his language, Chris goes out there by 6:30 in the morning. He's at Cervi at 6:30 in the morning. And then who, if anyone, sees him at 6:30 in the morning?
Nobody would
No
have seen
one?
him. There's nobody out there.
No one.
So, who would have been the first person to actually see Chris that morning?
It would have been either Troy or Chad and Melissa.
All right, so it would have been Troy, Chad, and Melissa. Troy, Chad, and Melissa would have been the first people on site, the first people to see Chris by himself at Survey 319.
And that would have been at which pump station here? Pump
The Cervi 319.
And that would have been at number 319. Is there a dash in there, or is it just
Yeah, it's
319?
3-19, sorry.
I need to get this right here. 3-19. And do you know what time that would have been?
Honestly, no. You'd have to check. That would be a good question for Troy or Chad, depending on who was there first. Cause yeah, I'm not sure what time they showed up out there. I can't imagine it was very long after I called him.
And they're all in 3 different vehicles, Chad, Troy, and Melissa?
Yeah, they're all in 3 different. Everybody has their own separate vehicles.
So in the 2 years that you've known Chris, has he ever talked to you about his family life or relationship with his wife?
Yeah, he absolutely loves them. I mean, his girls are his world. I mean, whenever something health-wise came up with the girls, I mean, you could tell something was up. He'd tell Luke and tell us, like, hey, the girls are in the hospital, or so on and so forth. And
Would he go, or would he have to continue working?
Luke's pretty good about letting us go out of the field, taking time off.
Yeah, so you heard that. So for Cody, he thinks that Chris's family were his world. Those girls were his world, he says. Same thing that Nicole Kessinger says, right? But of course we know Nicole Kessinger's involvement, being the mistress and all. But Cody is, like I said, right? He thinks that Chris is a good dad just because the girls had health issues and he was taking them to the hospital, which I can argue that the only reason that he was on top of it was because of Shanann. Like, let's be completely real here. Let's be real. Chris was not actually concerned. He was only concerned because Shanann was concerned. And she made him also be concerned. She was the one concerned with Nutgate. She was the one that was afraid that one of the girls was going to end up with a severe allergic reaction. She had to talk to Chris about it, trying to get him to understand her perspective. Hey, maybe your mom shouldn't be feeding nuts to our kids, Chris. Aren't you outraged? Are you going to do something about it? This is the this is the impression that I get. So everything that I'm hearing Cody say, it really does sound like it was just Chris acting that way because Shanann was giving him the news, right? So he's getting text messages from Shanann throughout the day, and he's like, "Oh man, the girls are sick. I have to take them to the hospital." And Cody's like, "Oh, you must really love your daughters." And Chris is like, "Mm-hmm. I only have to take them to the hospital because Shanann told me to." And Cody's like, "Uh-huh. You must really love your daughters. Those kids are your world, aren't they?" Of course they're not. No. Because none of this was coming from Chris's, soul. None of this was Chris's initiative. He probably didn't even know the girls were sick until Shanann was the one who told him, "Hey, Chris, have you not noticed that the girls are sick? They're coughing. They've been coughing for the past 2 days." And Chris is like, I didn't even notice. I think that the only person who noticed was Shanann. Yes. Shelly, 100%. Rocks, he was incapable of doing anything without being told. Exactly. Exactly. This is a man who is incapable of taking initiative for himself. He's not going to go out of his way and think outside the box. Oh, how am I going to help my daughters? What am I going to do to get ahead in life? No, all of this was with the help of women. Always. His mom, Shanann, and then later Nicole. If his whole life, if his all of it was guided by other people, the majority of them being women, why are we supposed to believe that Chris just out of all of a sudden, right out of the blue, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to be a man. I'm finally going to take charge of my life. I'm going to annihilate my family, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to dispose of them. I need help." Of course, and this is why many of us believe that he had help. Because look at him. I mean, he's just not capable of coming up with anything on his own. There's no way. Even caring for his children, he needed Shanann. He needed Shanann telling him, "Hey, Chris, help me with the girls. Do their laundry. They're sick. Here, help me with them. Take them to the hospital. Take them to school," right? All of this was Shanann. And this is not just speculation. We see it. We've watched this on Facebook. We see that it's constantly Shanann. She's making, right? She's in the kitchen making food, making tea. Chris is here holding the girls. And Shanann's like, "Hey, can you help me? Like, go do something," right? She's working. And Chris is just there, like, choking Dieter, right? Choking him out. "Hey, guys, my name is Chris. Look what I can do." Wha- Like, just like a serial killer. He didn't think anything wrong of it. He's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna choke out the dog. I'm funny, you guys." Shanann's like, "Stop it. What are you doing? Get away. Can you go wash dishes or something?" He's choking the dog on a live stream. The scumbag. He thinks he's funny. Dieter's like, "Bro, leave me alone or I'm gonna bite a chunk of your potato head face off," which would have been nice to see. But yeah, what do we think? Yeah, exactly. NK was the mastermind. It takes a woman to kickstart Watt's brain. Yes. Aw, Dieter. Yes. And yet she always tried to show him in the best light. Exactly. Exactly. On top of that, she always did try to make him seem like a competent husband. "Look, my husband, my potato head husband. He's great. He's great, not because he takes initiative, but because he listens to what Shanann would tell him, right?" She definitely led that relationship. Chris just followed. And he was okay with following. He followed Nicole, but he wanted to do it with someone who he found attractive. "I find her attractive now." There's lust here. Lust is so important in a relationship, per my research. Wow. Let's continue.
Alright. Yeah, he let us take time off for family stuff, especially having young kids. Can't relate personally, but I know Troy and Chad and Chris and a lot of the guys have kids, and um, anytime something comes up with them, they're always able to take time off for family.
Did he ever talk about Shanann?
Yeah.
What would he say? What would that conversation be like?
She's calling. She's calling to work first thing in the morning.
I'm dead. You see what he said? Has Chris ever talked about Shanann? He says, "Yeah. Yeah, he talked about her all the time." And Stacy's like, "Okay, what did he say?" "She's calling. She's texting." And then he laughs. He's like, "Yeah, that's really all I ever heard about Shanann. Oh, she's calling. She's texting." This honestly, all of this gives us a better explanation. It gives us a better understanding into Chris's mindset, even before he murdered his whole family. Way before. This is a man who was over it. He did not want his family anymore. He was tired of it. He's like, "I don't want to do this, but I'm stuck here now." Cody Roberts just said, yes, he talked about Shanann. And it sounds like all of it was just Chris complaining that Shanann was calling him and texting him. Oh, yeah. It's Shanann calling me again. Who's Shanann? My wife. Oh, oh, Shanann is texting me again. And Cody is like, oh, your wife. That's all he heard. That's all Chris ever spoke about or to his coworkers about Shanann. Nothing about her, right? Nothing about the trips that they're taking, nothing about her work or oh my god, I love my wife so much. No, it's all ugh. Shanann's calling me again. Oh god, she's texting me again. Oh my god. She's pestering, she's blowing up my phone. That's what that means. That's what that means. Who knows how long before meeting Nicole Kessinger he was already saying this about his wife. So the two things that Cody knows about Shanann are she called him a lot, and the things that he knows about his daughters are, oh, Chris took him to the hospital. And those two things he concluded that Chris loves his family. Very, very bare minimum. We need to do better, guys. We need to do better. We can't just assume that people love their families or people or in general just because they do the bare minimum. I'm sorry, but the bare minimum isn't love. It's literally the bare minimum. It is what the law requires. The law requires parents to take care of their children until they are 18. It's literally the bare minimum. Why is the bar in hell, you guys? Why is the bar so low? We have to do better. We have to do better. We can't just excuse people's bare minimum behaviors and the bare minimum that they do for their partners as going above and beyond. Oh, my husband is so great. He came to me when I was in labor. He visited me in the hospital. Isn't he so sweet, you guys? Yeah. He brought me McDonald's after I had just given birth to twins. And then he went home to play with his Xbox, right? We have to do better. And this goes both ways, right? This goes both ways. I've made videos on this channel about the women who have murdered their husbands and boyfriends, right? It's the same thing. Where's the respect? Why are we doing the bare minimum for one another, you guys? A partnership is supposed to make our lives better. That's literally it. Why are we doing the bare minimum for one another? Let's continue.
He'd step outside and talk to her. I mean,
Did you ever
but he
hear
never.
any parts of the conversation? Like, did you ever get any indication that they had any troubles?
No. I mean, I've never got the vibe that they ever had any issues. It's not to say they don't. I mean,
Yeah.
hell, my parents have been married for almost 20 years now, and they still get into it every once in a while. But if they ever did have any, issues, when she called in the morning, he left it at the door, and was it. We didn't talk about it, and it's none of my business. It never has been. It's his family stuff. If he wanted us to know, he'd tell us.
Did he ever talk about his plans, like if his family got a new car,
Yeah.
or if they were gonna sell their house, or did he talk about his
Yeah,
kids' school, vacations?
Vacations. I'm not sure if his kids are in school yet. But definitely vacations. When Shanann got her new car and all that stuff, he'd talk about it. I mean, not like crazy talk about it, but he'd bring it up.
Did he
Because
ever
we'd
talk-
see it on Facebook too. But
See, there you have it. So Chris would bring up things that were important to him. That's what I'm hearing. So Stacy is getting to a really good point, right? She's trying to understand just how much Chris actually talked about his family to try and understand whether or not Chris even loved his family. And all of the things that Cody is mentioning are things that would be exciting for Chris. So he brought up adventure time, right? Traveling. He would bring up traveling because if anything, yeah, that's very exciting for Chris. He's going to San Diego. I'm going to New Orleans, right? All the awesome places that Shanann took him to because of her work, right? It was Shanann's work. They went to I think Cabo San Lucas was the next place, but before that, they were like Puerto Vallarta. They were in Mexico. They were all over the place. So of course Chris is going to talk about that. Oh yeah, I went to Mexico. Yeah, because of my wife. Yeah. My wife took me to Vallarta. She's the one who got me out there. Otherwise, I wouldn't have never been. He talks about what is the other thing? The car. Oh yeah, he talked about Shanann getting a Lexus. Of course he did. Why would he not? Yeah, my wife got a Lexus. It's nice compared to the truck that I drive that the company gave me. These are all things that Chris is talking about to brag almost. He's bragging about these things. These are things that he enjoys, right? These are the things that make him look good as a partner, as a husband. And so he's only bringing up the things that either really bothering him, right? The things that really bother him, like, ugh, Shanann is calling me and texting me again, or we're going on a trip. My wife got us a nice trip to wherever, right? San Diego, to the beach. We're going to Hawaii. And then he talks about Alexis. That's about it. Cody's like, yeah, he brought it up, but he wasn't talking about it like crazy. It's not like he was really excited about it. No, it was just in passing. What does that tell us? This is a man who was just going through the motions. Chris was in this relationship and going through life and without any emotion whatsoever. He's empty. He's just going along with it, bringing up only the things that bring him an ounce of joy. Oh, this is different. I'm not taking care of my children this weekend. I'm traveling. That's fun. Thank you, Julie. Thanks for the memberships, guys. Exactly. The goon had a perfect life. He had a perfect life and he was still complaining. So many of my friends that have children and they talk about their kids and how much they love them, I know that they love them because of the way that they talk about them. They talk about them the same way that I talk about my cats, right? Every chance I get, I'm like, "Oh my god, you have to see a picture of my Mr. Butters. Ah, he's so cute. Look. Isn't he cute? Oh, he's so adorable. Look at the way he licks his butthole. Oh, he's so cute. Ah. Look at this. Look at Elliot. Oh my god. Isn't his belly so adorable? Oh my god." I know that parents love their children because they're like, "Oh my god, Roxy, look. Look at what little Jimmy did." Ah. And I'm like, "Ah, that is so cute." Yeah. Right. I'll be like, "Yeah, he's so cute." But then Jimmy is next to the cat, and then I'm like, "Ah, oh my god, he's so cute." Right. All the parents, right? All the parents showing me their child. And I'm like, yeah, look at my child. He's furry. He's the furry type. Right. The competition. Which child is cuter? Hey, I'm not even gonna start this right now, right? I don't want to offend anybody. I think my cats are cuter. Right. But see, this is how I know, right? This is how I know that parents love their children because they enjoy actually being around them. They're like, yeah, I took Sarah out to the park and I enjoyed it. I spent 3 hours just swinging her, right? Pushing her on the swing and she enjoyed it. She laughed. And I'm like, oh my God, that sounds fun. That sounds like a really wholesome time with your family, right? And you can see their joy. They have fun with their children. But Chris is not like this. Chris is talking about cars. He's talking about travel. And then when he talks about his family, it is all bad. Hospital bills, sickness, responsibility. Oh no, I have to take him to the hospital. Ugh, my wife is calling me again. Ugh, she's texting me. He's a complainer. He's complaining. Are we really surprised that Chris ended up committing this atrocity? He was tired of his family. All he needed was a Nicole Kessinger to cross his path. It really, honestly, did it even have to be Nicole Kessinger? It could have been another woman or man, who knows, right? It could have been anybody else that told Chris, oh, you're really strong. I love your arms. I love that head. It's the perfect size for me. I don't even care about your height. I don't care about your macros or your BMI. I love the size of that head. Mm, I love it. I just can't help it. And then Chris is like, "Oh my god. Somebody finds me hot. Finally." Yeah, a hot potato, right? You're like playing hot potato with his head. You're like, "Oh. Oh." But and it's not even heavy because it's empty. There's nothing in it. It's mostly it's like a little balloon. You're like throw it and you're like, "Oh, okay, there it is. Oh, yay. Oh, oh, oh." Right? You play soccer with it. You're like, "Oh, goal. Oh, wait, no, it's up in the air." Hey. That's Chris's head. It's just floating around. But anyway, let's continue. I deviated again to roast Chris. Let's continue.
Hey, dude, congratulations and stuff.
Did he ever talk about their finances?
No.
Did he ever talk about, so you said the girls, did you know before this that Shanann was pregnant?
Honestly, no, I did not. I guess she had posted about it on Facebook. Um, but
Everything is
I
Facebook.
honestly had no idea.
He never mentioned that.
Mm-mm. Nobody did, actually. I mean, our group's, you know, pretty close, so usually stuff gets brought up, but yeah, I honestly had no idea.
Was there ever any indication that he or Shanann could have been seeing anyone on the side?
No.
Okay, Cody was asked if there was a chance that either Chris or Shanann were seeing other people, and Cody says, "Nah." Do we think that he knew or maybe had an idea of whether Chris was messing with Nicole Kessinger or not? What do we think? I think that the majority of us believe that Troy knew for sure, right? The Troy probably knew for sure that there was an affair, but I don't know about Cody. Maybe he suspected it, maybe not, but definitely not Shanann, obviously. I mean, he didn't even know that much about her other than, oh, she blows up Chris's phone all the time. Cosmo Bear, who saw NK and Chris Watts close 5 months before? That's a good question. Was it Cody? It was Cody. Oh, wow. So then I think he probably had an idea then, right? He probably suspected Chris and Nicole were a little too close. Fraternizing, right? Fraternization in the workplace because he was trusted. I think it's impossible that people at work didn't know about the affair. I think so too. Especially these two. I don't think that they were doing a really good job at hiding it. You can kind of tell, right? If you've ever worked somewhere with a lot of people, you can kind of tell when people are flirting at work. You can kind of tell, oh, there's something going on there because they're not that good at hiding it, especially these two. The potato head, with how weird he was, all his coworkers talk about how weird and awkward and quiet he was. What if all of a sudden he's talking to Nicole Kessinger and he never did that before? He's a different person now. He's way more confident than he used to be. How are you not going to think that there's something going on? I know they said Troy was telling everybody it was Shanann cheating. Whoa. Really, Tammy? People at work know. My empanada, you're so damn sexy. There's a TikTok of a female coworker that says everyone knew about the homewrecker. I've even seen that text message, circulating around the internet. It's a group message, right, of all the coworkers talking about how Nicole Kessinger was a homewrecker. Yeah, they got too close. So then here, whatever, Cody Roberts said, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and assume that it was half a lie, right? I think he said, no," but it did sound a little like he was hesitating a little bit, maybe. He was a bit apprehensive to say no. Let's continue.
And could have been seeing anyone on the side.
No.
Do you think that if he would have been doing that, that he could have disguised that? Or do you think he would have? You guys would have known.
I'm sure we probably could have figured it out. Especially, I mean, well, him and I aren't like on a personal basis. I know him and Troy are more on that personal basis. So I mean, Troy probably could have picked it up. But being at work, I mean, I see him in the morning. I don't see him like all the time at work. It's just every once in a while.
So what's your position there?
I'm an operator.
And how does that compare to being a rover or a lead?
So I have a set route. I have 24 wells that I look after, maintain, responsible for the production on. As a lead, you are responsible for literally everything under the foreman. You attend meetings on behalf of the foreman.
And you're not lead?
No.
But Chris is?
Yes.
Does that mean he's higher than you in
Yeah.
the hierarchy? Okay.
Yeah.
And he's lead. Is there another part of the title, like what he's lead on, or he's just a
Just
lead?
Yeah.
Okay.
They also call them field coordinators. They're people that the foreman see fit as being able to lead the team in the event the foreman's not at work, say he's on vacation or whatever reason.
So he's right under the foreman?
Yes.
So the question that Stacy asked here was very relevant, I think, because here Cody is talking about how Chris and Cody are not really on like a personal level. And so he talks about how Chris and Troy are because they're both leads. And so that's where Stacy asks him, like, what is your position then? Because she's getting this idea, right? She's seeing that Chris is closer to Troy and that maybe Cody wasn't going to pick up on anything weird with Chris because he does see him as his supervisor. So he is less likely to ask questions or even question any of Chris's behavior because he sees him as his boss. And so Stacy then asked that question, okay, well then what's the difference? What's the difference between you and Chris? Well, Cody is a rover and Chris is his lead. And Chris then he reports to his boss, which is Luke, the foreman. And so then Stacy is getting this idea that, oh, well then Chris might not be as open with Cody because he's actually one tier below Chris. And so the person that has all the answers or might have more answers is actually Troy because he's a lead. They're on the same level and they're actually friends. They talk outside of work, they hang out outside of work. And that is what is it, Stacy was getting at. Chris and Troy's wives both did thrive. Who is Troy's wife again? I hate all those pictures when Thrive Passes are visible in all of them. I know it was her business, but I hate MLM companies. I do too. I hate all MLMs. Yeah, I know it was her business, but man, MLMs are so evil. MLMs are so evil. They go after the most vulnerable moms. It's people who want to have their own businesses, who, they have this illusion that they're going to start their own business and have more time with their families and, be like a, what is it, a girl boss and all of that. And it turns out all of it it's a Ponzi scheme, really. The only person it benefits is the people at the top, as always. But let's continue.
Or attend meetings. They have sign-off privileges on PSSRs, on turning on facilities and stuff like that.
So he's right under the foreman and can act as a foreman in the foreman's absence.
Yes.
So as far as on Sunday, Chris reaching out to you.
Us or on Friday after work or something, or at work, they're like, hey, we're going to do this for you on Monday or whatever. Because, even though 24 wells doesn't sound like a lot, when it's spread out across 50 miles, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely not shocking nor surprising to me that he reached out to me on Sunday saying, hey, I'll go out to Cervi Ranch and go take care of those few things for you. Cause
so not usual, but not shocking.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, does that upgrade any shock factor potentially?
No, not really. There's a lot of weird things that, so far from what I've heard from the interview with Chris and then all the other stuff that I've seen come out, it's weird. It's extremely weird. But I've also heard Colorado has a very high sex trafficking crime rate here and all this other stuff. And, the striking thing is him leaving the house at 5:30 in the morning is right. To be out to Cervi Ranch at 6:30. Between traffic, especially traffic, takes about an hour. So.
What about that time he's out there alone at Cervi?
He's got computer work to do, checking emails, checking Signet, which is the program we use to check all our wells and tanks and pits and stuff. So, as the lead, he's going to check everybody's stuff, not just mine or somebody else's, but everybody's stuff across Luke's area. And try and help plan out his day, and then make phone calls to other people. Mm-hmm. Whether he did or didn't, I don't know, but that's just one of those things they do.
And believe you me, we want to either involve him or not involve him, so that we can focus in the right direction. Do you know what I mean? And we always look at the people closest, and we want to get them out of the equation as soon as we can. So that's this is still pretty early on, so that's what we're all working to do.
Yeah, the time frame's correct. If he left the house at 5:30, I know Anadarko, my truck. Actually, all the contractors and Anadarko run GPS in their trucks for that way they know where the trucks are, and they can monitor your speed, acceleration, braking, all that stuff. Talking on the cell phone while you're driving.
How does it know that?
Through the Bluetooth.
Oh, like if you're using it.
Yeah, so the truck it even knows when you're making phone calls. So it makes sense why Nicole Kessinger was doing most of the driving. He couldn't drive unless he was driving Shanann's Lexus. But thank you for the name. So her name is Juanita. Okay, so Troy's wife was also doing Thrive. I wonder, was she? I don't know. She probably wasn't even questioned, right? Or was she? I've never heard of Juanita ever. This is all new to me, you guys, so thank you for that. But yes, very jealous and very hateful. Oh my God, stabbing someone. Oh yeah, are we talking about Nicole Kessinger? Yes. Troy's parents were mean to name him Troy McCoy. Yes. I've even called him Coy McTroy in the past because I'm like, what is this guy's name again? Or Cody McBrody, because all these names kind of all sound the same. So I've had to, I'm like, who is it again? Cody McBrody or Croy McTroy, right? I don't know. But did Juanita get investigated? Or sorry, not investigated. Why would we investigate Juanita? No, did it did Juanita get interviewed? I'm curious. Did she, engage with Shanann? Let me write down that name. And let me write that name now. Let's yeah, I'll just go down the Juanita rabbit hole. All right, we have Juanita. Yeah, but it's interesting, right? What Cody is saying here. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really friends with Chris. The people who really know Chris are Troy. I don't really know anything, you know. Was he out there at 6 in the morning? Oh, it's possible because he's a lead, right? This is Cody talking about his boss. He's talking, he sees Chris as his boss. So he's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to question it. He knows what he's doing. That's his job, not mine. So he's explaining that everything that Chris did that morning is, it's normal because he's a lead. He can get away with things because he's a lead. It's basically what he's saying. But the other important thing that I thought, caught my attention was the fact that that truck recorded everything. And so that's why Chris wasn't really driving anywhere unless it was with the Lexus or in Nicole Kessinger's car. And it's very interesting that she sold her SUV almost immediately after the family disappeared, right? So if they went to Cervi 319 to dig the hole, which car was it? Was it the Lexus? Was it Nicole's car? Or was it someone else? Maybe a Jim, right? Someone named Jim. Bob, right? No, not Bob. Let's not throw Bob into the mix. Jim is a real person, right? Jim is Nicole Kessinger's friend. So how did they get there? Definitely not the truck. I don't think Cody suspected anything. Yeah, neither do I. I think he suspected that there was something going on between Chris and Nicole, but again, he didn't question it. Let's continue. We have 8 minutes left of this interview. We're almost done here with Cody Roberts and what he has to say.
But yeah. So, and I've already heard that the Anadarko's looked at the GPS stuff as far as his truck goes. They didn't tell us what it all looks like because it's none of our business.
Yeah,
but
let you know
but they
us
told us
investigate.
that they have pulled the GPS on it as far as that goes, but nothing more there.
So, have you talked to Chris since all this has happened? Has he?
I texted him yesterday after I found out that his wife and kids were missing. It's like, hey man, my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. I mean, I pray that they're found safe and get back to you. And if you need anything, just call me, text me. But yeah, other than that,
Did he reach out?
no. He's for the most part he keeps to himself. He doesn't have any family out here or anything like that. And I'm not sure on all the rest of his personal life there, but he keeps to himself. He's quiet but friendly. I mean, humble.
Mm-hmm.
No, he likes to joke around at work. I mean, we all do. But yeah, I mean, he's never really been weird or sketchy.
It's good quality to not be sketchy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, Tammy brought up a very interesting point here. I think Tammy says, I think that's why she had the police pick her up to go to the police station because she didn't want the vehicle anywhere near them. That's a very interesting point. I never even thought about that. Nicole Kessinger got picked up. She was given the princess treatment on top of that. Oh, I'm not going to drive myself to the station. Someone needs to chauffeur me there. Okay, I'm helping you. I'm giving you information. Somebody pick me up. All right, somebody. Hello, chauffeur. And what did the police do? They picked her up. Of course, of course. That's a very interesting point, though. I never even thought about that. Why didn't she walk over there? Take the bus. You don't wanna take your car? Take the bus. Use your feet. Does she also skip leg day? She doesn't walk on the treadmill? She's like, "No, it's okay. Somebody pick me up in the limousine." I need it to be a limousine, a full-on limousine for me and my daddy. Yeah, me and my daddy, Dwayne. But I think that's interesting. I wonder, yeah, she probably didn't wanna get caught with her truck there, and the police is like, "Yeah, can we look in your SUV? Just, just because." Yeah, thank you for that. Awesome, Tammy. Yeah, I never thought about that. I love this channel. Love you, Roxy. Aw, thank you, Ratitude. Aw, thank you. All right. Yeah, she didn't skip implant day. Yeah. Well, she skipped her hair implant day, right? She skipped it for that day that she showed up at Kevin's office, right? She had a whole bald spot. She's like, "Oh no, I skipped my implant day. I was gonna get a few hairs stuck into here." She was gonna show up looking like a chia pet. Chia. She shows up. She's like, "Hello, Kevin," and she's growing like a few grass, right? Leaves of grass, or blades. She's growing a few little blades of grass on the side of her head. Could you imagine? There's a whole pine tree sticking out of her forehead. Hi, Kevin. Kevin's like, "Whoa, what is that conifer doing on your forehead?" Nicole's like, "Oh yeah, I this is how I grow my food. I'm a squirrel. I eat pine cones. That's what I do." That's what Nicole was eating. She's eating her pine cones. That's why she couldn't eat the what is it? They gave her chips. She's like, "I'm not gonna eat the chips. Give me my pine cones." Did you know that Chris, in prison interview, he said his IQ was tested and it was like 140? What? Chris got his IQ tested and it was 140? I doubt it. His IQ is lukewarm, right? At the minimum. I would say it's lukewarm levels, so I'd say maybe like, I don't know, 60, right? 60 is room temperature. I think that's more like it, definitely. Just a regular spring afternoon inside your apartment. You look at the thermostat and you're like, "Oh, yep, that's definitely Chris's IQ. 64." Mhm. She had a fuzz spot on the corner of her head like someone stuck a Brillo pad on it. Oh my god. You guys are funny. You guys are hilarious. Yes. Pine cones are good for the macros. Yes, yes. Do you not know? It doesn't have any calories, but it has all the protein. Just chew on the bark. Chew on the bark. All that flavor. That's protein. Just kidding. Those are all termites, by the way. That's how they're getting their protein. It's by eating all the termites. What is this little squishy thing? Yum. This one is the gooey kind. Yummy. It's got the filling. Here you go, Chris. You want to try one of my pine cones? It's got little filling. You look, taste the little critters. Boops. I think she didn't want chips because she had morning sickness. She didn't keep the baby. Nothing is staying down. Yes. Thanks, Boops. Yeah, nothing is staying down. I'm so hungry. I'm so tired, Kevin. I haven't slept. But also, I can't think because I'm so hungry. As she pulls a pine cone from her forehead. She's stuffing her cheeks. She was like a hamster. Mhm. Wow. All right. We deviated. We deviated yet again. All right, let's continue with Cody's interview.
He like didn't really show any signs of nervousness out on location. Like, you know, if he did do something, I mean, so especially something that degree, you know, I don't think you'd be hanging out with all the people you work with. Probably want to be left alone. I'm trying to stay kind of off the radar.
Okay.
But
Is there anybody that you think that we need to you think you should make sure that you tell us to talk to? And when I say that, I don't say, "Hey, Cody said we need to talk to you."
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we just go talk to
I
somebody.
mean, I know Chad and Tony have already been talked to. Not Tony, Troy. Chad and Troy have already been talked to. I know. I spoke to them earlier. And then Melissa, she has an FBI agent going out to her place this
Okay.
afternoon. And Luke, our foreman, I was actually out in Cervi, headed out to Cervi Ranch this afternoon to go check on that riser, and I ended up actually falling right behind him, the FBI agent, one of the Frederick Police Department guys, and I was just told, you know, don't worry about it, don't get wrapped up in it, just go ahead and head
So they're
out.
getting talked to, or Luke's getting talked to.
Yeah,
right?
I'm assuming he went out to the location that Chris would have been at that morning.
Okay. And anybody outside of work? Like, has he ever mentioned any friends or?
No, I mean, for the most part, he keeps other than like his kids, he keeps most of his personal life to himself. I mean, it's just who he is. It's how he's always been. He doesn't really bring it up a whole lot at work. I mean, you know, when the kids are sick, he says something, or like new car, he said something. But I mean, friends and stuff like that. No,
Okay.
he doesn't
So
really.
Chad, Troy, Melissa, Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
I mean, as far as people seeing him on Monday, it was just me, Chad, Troy, and Melissa.
Or anyone that he could be close to at work?
Anthony Brown, he's one of the other pumpers. He's a rover too now. Tim Schuster. Tony Kern. Because Tony Kern is a foreman in a different area now, but he used to be our previous lead. But he got moved over to the horizontal side and then got a foreman position.
So
but Tony and Chris work together a lot too.
So Chris worked with all three of these?
Yeah.
Okay.
Currently still do work with everybody in the group but Tony. Tony's in a different group now, but did work with them.
What about people at the office? I know he only spends 5% maybe of his time there.
Yeah, he's there for maybe an hour or two in the morning. Just to go through wells and talk to Luke and, you know.
Is there anyone else that he talks to at the office that hour or two in the morning?
Not that I've paid attention to.
What? What? He said not that I've paid attention to. Who else did he talk to in the office other than Luke? We know that obviously he was talking to Nicole Kessinger. And if it's true, right, that Cody was the one who saw them really close, then he knows that he was also talking to Nicole Kessinger. What do we think? Obviously, I'm going to say Cody didn't know anything, right? But I do get the feeling, I just get this weird feeling that he's still, right? He's still looking out for Chris. He's like, no, I don't think Chris did anything. He doesn't talk to anybody. If he was talking to Nicole, it's not because of that. So he's still kind of looking out for Chris without really looking out for him. Again, I'm not saying he knows anything, but he's just looking out for Chris in a way of loyalty, right? He's very loyal to Chris. Come on. Like, really? He spent 5% of his time in the office. So many people knew that Chris and Nicole Kessinger were up to something, but Cody didn't? I don't know, I don't think so. Let's continue. We have about 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Just us, our group.
I got it wrong, says Cosmo Bear. Okay, so it was Anthony, not Cody. So it was Anthony. It was Anthony who saw them, not Cody. Okay. But still, though, I mean, even let's just say that Cody never even spent any time in the office. How likely is it that Cody was the only one who didn't know anything was weird? Even if they were just flirting, right? If they were just flirting, if there was something weird going on, I would still mention it. I'd be like, oh, yeah, I mean, I saw him talking to the safety girl, the one that gives us all free gift cards. He would talk to her a lot. Yes, Anthony. Okay, let me write down Anthony. So many names. Lots of people involved in this. All right, Anthony. All right, let's continue.
But yeah, as far as like knowing him the longest, I mean, me, Chad, Troy, Tony, and Anthony.
Yes. Sorry, had to pause it real quick. Yes, especially with office gossip. You know, people talk at work. Have you ever worked with people? People can't keep a secret. Anytime there's some drama or some, hot gossip, everyone's hanging out by the water fountain. Give me all the scuttlebutt. Give me the hot tea. Tell me, spill the beans. Even in the military, gossip is called scuttlebutt. Did you guys know that? What's all the scuttlebutt? Yeah, that's what we called it in the military. What's all the scuttlebutt? Because a scuttlebutt is a water fountain. So when you hang out by the water fountain, that's where you gossip. Yeah, oh my God, did you know? Did you know that Sergeant so and so and so and so are getting it in? He's married though. Did you know that? She's also married. They're getting it in. Oh my God. And so we would have a sergeant come by and be like, "Hey, Marines, what's all the scuttlebutt?" And we're like, "Oh, no, nothing, Sergeant. We were just talking about how you're cheating on your wife." "Oh, sorry." Yeah. All the scuttlebutt, all of the gossip at work, and Cody didn't hear about it. Oh, not me. I don't like the drama. I don't deal with drama. Let me just close my ears. I don't know. Or maybe he just didn't want to be involved, right? Maybe he's just one of those guys. I don't want to be involved. I kind of saw it, but I don't want to deal with it. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. He's probably one of those guys, right? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. When my son became a petty officer in the Navy, they said he was allowed to be petty now. Yes, yeah. You're a petty officer, you're going to be petty. You're definitely spreading a lot of that scuttlebutt. Cameras are banned at oil sites, hence an explosion. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that they were banned. Why are they banned? I have to look into that one too. Banned, what is it? Banned cameras? All right. All right, guys, let's continue.
We've all known him the longest, and Tim. Tim's been here longer than the other. Melissa, Daniel, and I guess Robert Mary too would be another one.
Robert Mary,
Yeah.
M-A-R-Y? Or
E-R-R-Y. Yeah, we've all worked with Chris extensively in the last couple of years, so
Okay.
as far as any other people at the office that I know about, I don't. Just, I see him in the morning and usually take off about the same time.
How many other people are in the office?
Too many to count.
Oh, okay. I don't know how big
It's
it is.
the Anadarko field office in Platteville. There's quite a few people. There's a lot. All their Wattenberg operations are based out of that facility.
But he keeps to himself, usually in the 1 to 2 hours, and just talks with the close
Yeah.
group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He talks with us and Luke, and yeah, that's about it. I'm sure he talks to, a couple other people, I'm sure, but passing by in the office. But it's
What?
not really anything I notice.
Okay. All right. Well, if you can't think
Sorry
of
if it's extremely confusing. I'm confused myself because I didn't think I was gonna have to remember this. So.
That's all right. You have a lot of text information that gives
Yeah.
us, helps us with timelines and things to hopefully help Chris
Yeah,
in the whole
like
situation.
I want to do anything possible to help clear his name because I've seen the nasty comments on Facebook.
And hopefully you do anything possible to help find Shanann and the kids
definitely.
too, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
that's the biggest thing is finding them.
I gave you my card.
Yes.
If you think of anything or hear anything, even if you don't think it's a big deal, but you think it's something we should know at least, then don't hesitate to call.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah.
All right. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry about the technical difficulties here in the recording, but I think it worked out.
All right, that was it. Notice how at the end he's like, yeah, I'm sure he talked to other people. I just don't know who. Really? He talked to Nicole Kessinger all the time. All the time. But that was Cody Roberts. That was his full interview. It was about 36 minutes long. And hey, even though Cody didn't really know that much about Chris, he knew enough. And he was able to give us an idea, kind of, right? Ballpark of Chris and how he behaved at work and how he talked about his daughters and his family. And so we at least have an idea of Chris. He was definitely already fed up with his family. He talked about them. He didn't really talk about them in that good of a light, at least, for me, at least, the way that I perceived everything that Cody was saying. But you guys let me know what you think. Yeah, what did you guys think about Cody's interview and about all of this? So we went over this, right? We went over the text messages, whether or not Chris had time to bury his family and get rid of them in a 90-minute time frame. And the majority of us agreed that no, that he couldn't have dug the hole the same day. And then we also went through the text messages, we went through some videos, and then we also went through Cody's interview. And with that, now we have a better understanding of what happened that morning. We have a better understanding of Troy, Melissa, Chad, and their work dynamic and whether or not Troy knew about Nicole Kessinger. So he's definitely going to be another one that we'll be listening to, and we'll listen to Luke. And the more we listen, the more we can, get rid of certain theories, certain beliefs, and make room for new ones. So, yeah, any last thoughts? Is there anything else that we need to add to this calendar? I feel like Cody didn't want to believe it could be true. I agree, Brandy. I agree. Yeah, Cody was probably like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't think he's capable of doing anything. Yeah, I think Cody is naive and gets a pass. I do too. I need examination by Veroscope. Yes, Veroscope. So I'll check Veroscope out, you guys. So many of you are asking me to check them out. So go ahead and check them out after this live. Yes, prove and debunk together. Yes, love it. Right. This is why we're doing this, guys. I want to be able to hear other opinions, right? Other than just having one person try to figure it out here. We have another person over there. When all of us come together and then, I have some information, you guys have tons of information, then we can bounce ideas off each other and get closer to the truth. We can add my birthday, August 31st. Oh, look, Jim. All right, we'll add you under Jim right here, Molly. This was the last time that Nicole Kessinger spoke to him. Gonna love Veriscope. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check out Veriscope, you guys. I'll see what video I can make. Saberby, I missed some too. Lost Wi-Fi. Oh no. Saberby, I hope you got your power back and that everything's okay. He didn't care about his kids. Obviously, at the beach when they were in North Carolina, you could see kind of shun. Yes. Yeah, she sensed something. Yeah, totally. Yeah, guys, but let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought about this video, or this live stream, and if there's anything else that we need to add onto the calendar. Yeah, please let me know. I love that you're posting everything on the community. Every time I see something, I go ahead and add it onto the calendar. And so anything else or any other people as well that we need to look into, if you know the names or if you have their interviews that we can watch together, please send them my way. Yeah, and thank you all so much, you guys. Thank you so much for joining today's live stream. Please go ahead and subscribe, share, and yeah, thank you so much. Any opinions, any thoughts that you have, like I said, please drop them off in the community board. It's really helpful. We can all add everything on there and we can see other ideas that people have as well. So, love it, you guys. Thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you to my subscribers, my members, my moderators. Thank you all so much for being here. Love you. Stay safe. All right, stay safe. We have strong winds this weekend. So please stay safe out there. And of course, stay safe from the crazies. Tons of crazies out there. Stay safe. All right. Bye, guys. Bye, everybody. Stay safe. Have a great weekend, guys. Thank you.